Christ or channel of light fluid. Welcome back to the Minotaur Hotel, and today we're going to do the whole of chapter 19, which will bring us up to the current end of the builds. I know the team are working hard on a new one, but this shall finish it off for the moment. So let's get into chapter 19. O patient Hera, please see fit that patient close and long he'll stay. Salt water and sun, loamy earth and fresh rain, the rustic smell of a hard-working man and life everlasting. Your fingers, dragging over Asterion's chest, leave a trail of upturned fuzz in their wake. With your ear resting so close, his breathing is like a quiet lullaby. Even while fast asleep, his own fingers tense as his arm pulls you closer. Following that command, you fit your head into the crook of his neck, leaving no doubt that men were indeed crafted to love one another. Upon his shoulder, at the spot where a landing dove might perch, you place a kiss. The Minotaur's fur is softer than cream, and through your lips his warmth seeps deeper than sunlight. Your eyes drift over to the window and the lilac sky beyond. Soon it will be streaked with orange, leaping and bounding into the living room to break this mercy. If only a single moment could be made everlasting, wise men would say that the most deserving of them all is one spent in the lax embrace of one's beloved. But the world, so imperfect, could never allow such a thing. Which is why one would do well to indulge when one can. That broad chest, brimming with kindness and strength and abundance, the unshakable heart of a champion who did not, shall not ever break. The merciful softness of fur and skin, muscles shuddering as a finger brushes his nipple, an iambic heartbeat, befitting an epic of Milton or the tenderness of Shakespeare. Emboldened, you grab, hold, enjoy a handful of his chest, and his arm brings you closer. Closer still, as though two could be made one. Ah, good Lord, if only a moment could be made eternal. Blessed would this realm be, were its master allowed to suspend the sun's movement, to shield your darling's eyes for just 5 minutes more. But it is too late. That frightful enlivening sunlight slashes into the room, merciless as the march of time. The darling's tail starts rustling and thumping. Then, the man. A shudder, a groan, a chest-rumbling moan. Sweet-eyed Asterion awakens, and his first command as co-owner of this establishment is to clutch you ever closer to his chest. To lay his wet nose atop the crown of your head. To kiss, gentle as an ocean breeze, between your eyes. You lift yourself up to return the affection. You nuzzle his birthmark, that most love-worthy of imperfections, while stroking his chin. Yet more sunlight intrudes, heating the room and your darling alike. In that moment, the Minotaur realizes that each of you carries the other's scent. He kisses your lips, smiling, as though 'twere the greatest victory of his life. Did you sleep well? I cannot say. It feels as though I am still dreaming. Well then, would another kiss help the sleeping beauty wake up? He moves without opening his bashful mouth. His eyes wander. Rhythmic thumping, the stirring of a restless tail, the beating of a tender heart. His eyes wander back. Perhaps, just to make sure. You lean forward to meet him. Though no moment can be made everlasting, the touch of lips between giggles and caresses still gives hope that many more may be to come. That mercy, at least, has roosted on this realm and the Minotaur's shoulder alike. Well, it would seem this is no dream after all. Who knows? I'd say sleeping with my head on your chest was like a dream. Ah. So it was to your liking? Second only to waking up to the sound of your heartbeat. The day has barely begun. Already your honey tongue is on the loose. It's never too early to gush over how amazing you are. The Minotaur opens his mouth, another witty retort already prepared, yet his gaze lingers on the armband around your bicep. An oath given form. A promise powerful enough to change the world, define it and bless all who inhabit it. The sun strikes just right, revealing a new wetness in Asterion's eyes. Oh, thank you. I love you too. His restless tail flicks in tandem with his reddened ears. Now, we should probably talk, yes? We do have a lot to discuss. Where should we begin? How about this for a start? You're my best friend, Asterion, my partner in crime and my darling. It felt right when we kissed, both yesterday and today, and doubly so when we slept together. It all sounds quite simple when you put it like that. The best things in life usually are. And I've got to say, you're one of the best things to ever happen to me. Likewise. You pull away from your Minotaur, only to march into the kitchen and start preparing breakfast. It doesn't matter what the gods wanted for us, or what they planned for this realm. You and I are making the best out of it, together. I said it before and I'll say it again. Fuck the Labyrinth and its rules. We'll make our own human laws and live by them as equal partners. Gods be damned. His hoofsteps follow. They pause behind you. They shuffle. Please let me hold you again. You turn and find him standing far closer than you anticipated. He pulls you away from the counter, back into the warmth of his embrace, while laying his wet nose upon your forehead. He huffs and hums, thrashes his tail and ears, hesitates and, at last, speaks. What a blessing it is that, of all people, you are the one to receive the deed. Perhaps one might offer a demure response to such praise, but he continues before it can come. You are far more than a master or lord. There are no words, gods given or man-made, which can restrain you. Of that you leave no doubt. And it feels good to know that you desire me. I'm not used to this, but be certain that your affection, your caress, your gaze, I welcome it all. So, if all that you have said is true, then I ask only for you to respect my one wish as your equal partner. Let me stay by your side. Let me be yours. You say you love me. That's good enough already. His grip around you tightens, and you squeeze back with all your lordly might. A groan that is half a whimper. I do. I love you. I love you too. You sink into his chest, firm and tender in equal measures, and enjoy the peace of a new day's dawning. The world is quiet, save the occasional rustle of Asterion's tail, and the wind coming in from the window, and the steady rhythm of his breath. The air still has a taste of the night's humidity, a perfect accompaniment for a sip of coffee. We really do have to start preparing breakfast, though. Another groan, 2/3 a whimper. What a tragedy. And yet the Minotaur must comply, no matter what sweet sorrow comes of parting. Now, what do you want in your sandwich? How about smoked salmon? Excellent choice. There is one other issue to discuss. You look over your shoulder, hands continuing their work to prepare only the finest repasts for your fellow prince. Should we be worried about us and, Lord Hermes, son of Maya? Do you think he'd be against us? About that. The morning Jean left after delivering that letter from Clermont, he and I actually had a talk. He was very insistent there's nothing wrong with you and me getting together. Looking back, it's like he really wanted me to take things further with you. Which, mind you, was quite the uncomfortable discussion. It's really none of his business. Regardless, we can assume that he doesn't disapprove. I suppose it makes sense. In those transcripts he seemed to favour my cause. Perhaps he truly does maintain that position to this day. Though his actions last night remain just as puzzling. As a side note, I'd like to repeat what I said last night. You're taking all this pretty well. Was it you? Well, maybe I shouldn't say this, but he deserved getting knocked on his ass after all the ruckus he caused. Leo, you're knocked out of God. So, doesn't matter what he is. As long as he's under our roof, he's our guest. And by God, he will act like it. With that declaration, you brush the matter aside, turn instead to the far more pertinent concern of brewing the coffee. From behind comes more shuffling, the sound of his tail lashing. At last, a breathless, half-mooing laugh. Commandeering cattle? Best in a god? Well, you only have a turtle out of which to craft an instrument as well. Perhaps Lord Hermes would have no recourse but to favour you. Perhaps. Though honestly, after last night, I'm not sure I care one way or the other about his favour. I only wish I could be as glib as you. And, well, perhaps it is simply too early in the morning for me to panic, but... Please, do be understanding if, come tonight, the weight of yesterday falls fully upon me. Waiting for the bread to toast, your hand is free to squeeze a reassurance into Asterion shoulder. Given the circumstances, I think we all deserve some time to process things. This will be such a mess. But I suppose we must start the day eventually. There is much to do, and not even the gods can fight necessity. Adamastor's work is never done, nor is his partner's. For starters, we need to sit down with Argos and get his account of, well, everything. Yes. In all honesty, I'm eager to speak with him again, and see what exactly he has to say for himself. Again? Asterion's ears flick, his gaze wanders away from your own. Well. A few nights ago I went down to the valley's entrance. That apology letter of his gave me much to think about, and I suppose I wished to test his sincerity. He glances at your armband, then again his gaze darts away. To be clear, this is entirely of my own volition. Nothing in that letter of his forced or coerced me to meet with him. Good. That's good to hear. So, how did it go? Surprisingly well. He truly seems to be unlike any of his predecessors. Perhaps even friendly. I believe in him. Although the entire situation is all the more baffling now. Speaking of, last night, Lord Hermes mentioned the snake was a part of whatever he's hoping to accomplish. Perhaps Argos can enlighten us as to what exactly that was as well. Perhaps. With your sandwiches assembled and your coffee poured, the both of you continue between bites. I'll also need a moment to talk with that young mythical Pedro. Between his grandfather's savings and the interest accrued during the intervening years, I do believe we owe him quite the hefty sum. And then there's Oscar. It is extraordinary that another Minotaur could exist, that he would arrive at our hotel last night of all nights. I do not even know where to start with what I wish to say. It's understandable. This is a very exceptional occasion. I'm sure the two of you have plenty more Minotaur things to discuss. Maybe you could start with asking him how he likes getting brushed. I could probably learn a thing or two from him. Oh, or you could discuss hoof care. Two of you must have a few tricks to share. Asterion groans, giving you a heatless glare, but has to chew and swallow before making his riposte. I'll have you know there's more to being a Minotaur than having hooves or getting brushed. Well, of course. You also have a tail to reveal your emotions, two horns framing your adorable face, a nuzzly wet nose. Ah yes, and how could I forget the moo, that most noble of sounds? You down your coffee in triumph, while Asterion tries and fails to think of a comeback. His nose a little pinker above his pursed lips, which try and fail in turn to suppress his smile. Seriously though, I understand. You two must have a lot to talk about. So, is that all we have on our agenda for today? You gather up the dishes to start rinsing them off in the sink. That is all I can think of at the moment, beyond one last pressing issue. The Minotaur straightens up with a broad smile. Is your worthy co-owner presentable for all that we must accomplish today? Of course, you always are. Although, let's take a look and see if we can't get you that little bit more handsome. As you turn, ready to head out, the Minotaur wraps his arms around you in another hug. He leans down, and coffee-scented breath tickles your ears, he whispers. Before we go, I'd like to make one more thing perfectly clear to you, Leo. I want you. I feel and know the desire to become one with you. And by the 12, it hurts when I let go of you. But so much is happening all at once. Part of me is even afraid of losing you. You and everyone else. So I will need some time to think, to get my bearings, to prepare myself. It should not take long, I promise. For I know that I do want you, and do welcome your touch, that nothing would make me happier than to hear you call me yours. And if you allow me to cherish, hold, and dote upon you, then you may do the same with me. Are you sure about that oath, little star? If you aren't careful, you'll allow me to kiss you right in front of our employees. He breathes deep while his hug tightens, exhales slow while the hold continues. You are mistaken if you think that would shame me. To think that you would cherish and desire me so, to the point of letting others know. Another breath, heavy and huffed out. Please, if you so desire, if you wish to let others know what we feel for each other, then please do. Have no shame of me. So I can hug and kiss you whenever, wherever I please? Dare I say it? Am I allowed to hold your hand? The Minotaur nuzzles his cheek against yours. That is more than answer enough. How scandalous! Well, don't get upset with me if Luke throws a fit then. His cheek remains where it is, warm and velvety, and with a little bashful chuckle. Well, let him. It would only be jealousy that I have you for myself. All right. Good to know I have the green light to let everyone else know about us. But I'll let you know now that we have to stick to some decorum. We are the bosses here. I can't exactly just go and grab your ass in front of the others. It wouldn't be proper. Now his cheek abandons yours, a little shudder and huff escapes him. And yet, that only allows you to watch the Minotaur's blush bloom hot at your words before he looks away. I would quite like that, though. If others are not around, I mean. Or if it's not too indiscreet. All right. I'll make sure everyone knows we belong to each other. Tastefully. Oh, thank you, sir. Hey, now, don't you start on that again. Oh. With quiet laughter mingling, the two of you make your way out into the hall together. Asterion pauses. His grip tightens around your hand. His gaze, so confident and sure mere minutes ago, darts shyly away from your own. May I say just one thing more? Of course. If you'll forgive the delay, I only wanted to mention. I spoke of appreciating you making our relationship known, whether by announcement or gesture, because I may lose heart about doing so myself in public. So, your assertiveness there is truly desired and appreciated. You answer your Minotaur with a gentle touch upon his cheek, which he leans into with a mooing groan. Before we go out, and I risk becoming too shy, I only wanted to say it again. I love you. Now come, the day is young and we have much to do. We do, yeah. You ready for it? With you by my side, Leo, I am ready for anything. My real name is Dominikos Papadakis of Crete. I'm not from this realm. I'm from outside, like everybody else. He heaves a sigh. The mid-morning sun shines bright through the office windows, bringing with it a hint of the coming day's sweltering heat. Dust diamonds glittering and dancing in the air, the steam which rises in slithering ribbons from your coffee cup up, every shadowless inch of the office, all is laid bare by its light. So does this shine upon the snake half resting upon his coils next to one of the chairs before the desk. There's no brush to conceal him, no crevice in which he may hide away. The pelt of his office has long been set aside, replaced with a knitted turtleneck. The air condition makes the pallid length of his lithe and covered tail twitch. In the light of the mid-morning sun, you and your Minotaur see him. Dominikos of Crete, your Argos Panoptes. A young man far from home and farther out of his depth, who's laid aside pelt and role and tradition out of love for justice. Looks for all the world like a chastened schoolboy, head down and hands fidgeting as he makes his confession. You've already heard it all. This is no revelation for you, good lord. So turn your gaze instead to the hybrid prince who stands by your side. Offer a comforting word or touch as needed. Guide him through the maelstrom of thought and unthought which rages behind his eyes, back to safe harbour. So, that's it. With his monologue completed, Nikos sinks back into his coils. He resumes fidgeting, tugging and picking at the knitted fabric of his sweater. The tip of his tail scrapes back and forth across the floor. Asterion has his eyes closed. His every breath is sucked in, filling the expanse of his chest to its fullest extent, for he blows all the stagnancy of centuries out in a single gust. Oh, I see. He lows, quiet and muffled, hunching over himself. His hands, his sweat-slick palms press against the top of the desk. Are you all right? I do not know. I know not what to think or say. I'm sorry for everything. I never wanted things to get to this point, but you deserve to know the truth. After last night, there probably isn't any point to giving up the charade. The snake's regretful words, your other's soothing presence, together they banish the hummingbird's fluttering at the Minotaur's nape. I thank you, Dominikos. Or Nikos? He receives a shy, tentative, awkward smile in response. If you'd like, then yes. That's what everyone calls me, so, yeah. The prince nods his horn-crowned head. This is not an easy thing to hear. The Argos, the Argoi, to think that all of them were merely playing a role, as you say. That all they've been doing for all this time has been for the sake of a farce. With his head tucked low, fingers picking and tugging at his sweater, sinking further into his coils, Nikos stays silent. Asterion starry-eyed gaze, then turns to you. And you knew of this? It is not a question. I'm sorry I didn't tell you. How long have you known? The time for keeping silent has passed. Let everything come to light. Hold nothing back. I had my suspicions for a while. It was only this past week that I was able to confront Nikos here about them. And when I gave you the trial transcripts to look over. His ear flicks, as is his tail. Asterion nods. Well, in addition to getting those from him, I kind of got Nikos to tell me everything. Not about Hermes, though. That one was pretty easy to figure out on my own. But that drama he caused last night sure came as a surprise. At the time, Nikos was going to leave, so there wasn't really any better time to get everything out on the table. I asked Leo not to tell you. It's not his fault. He was just helping me try to slither around what Lord Hermes had planned. What I understood, he would reveal everything to you when the time was right. Then he ordered me to crash your party last night and, well, you know the rest. You look to the snake, holding up a reassuring hand, then return your gaze to Asterion. Nikos may have asked it of me, but still, I kept the truth from you. And I'm sorry. Asterion's hand covers his face, rubbing a needle between his tight clenched eyes, hiding his expression. He continues to breathe, slow and steady, occasionally hitched. Then the Minotaur swallows down all the old fear and despair. And he laughs. Quiet at first, just a puff of air from his nose, then another, then a catching in his throat. Growing louder as all the tight-wound tension within him snaps. Asterion? When your hand lands upon his shoulder, he moves up to cover it, clutching tight, almost tight enough to hurt, and then settling atop it. Sorry, I know not what has come over me. Again he breathes in deep, gathering every shred and scrap of tangled thought. How easy would it be to cut the knot in twain, but a more delicate touch is needed here. One by one he pulls the threads. I was thinking of our time in the underground. It seems I'm not the only one to keep secrets and play tricks. Oh, king of mine, my emperor, my lord. Do not think that I blame you for it, though, or fail to understand why, considering what I've kept from one of the masters before you. He pulls another thread, following along its length. Also do not fail to understand the Argoi. As a matter of fact, for the first time in centuries, I feel the satisfaction of knowing. It eases the pain of not knowing, but at the same time it saddens me to think of why all this was necessary. Nikos stutters a few half-syllables. He draws himself up, this shamefaced boy, to offer what justification he can for his role in this rank, ancient injustice. I can't say. It shames me so much that I can't. If all the previous Argoi never meant to end you harm, despite the charade. But I can tell you for certain that I did not. Never did I want to truly bring you grief. And neither did my Paipuli. Asterion takes a few more slow, deep, gusty breaths, finding the last remaining tangle of the knot. Nikos. The snake rises to attention, hands frozen in their fidgeting. A few nights ago, we met down at the valley's entrance. When we spoke for the first time, as two men, not as foreman and prisoner. When you asked if we could have been friends. The Minotaur's own fingers idly curl into a familiar configuration, holding his absent lyre at the ready, prepared to pluck invisible strings. Did you truly mean all of what you said? Yes. Every word of it. When Lord Hermes first allowed me into the realm, I was so proud of my accomplishment in being chosen, so ready to put on the finest performance of my life, and to honour Papuli's memory. I'll admit, it was fun, playing the heartless, deceitful villain, coming up with all kinds of tricks and tests for Leo to prove himself. And when I realised just how close the two of you had become, I couldn't help feeling proud of playing some small part in bringing it to pass. His shoulders slump, his fidgeting resumes. But then, when I read the transcripts of the trial, I really thought about what I'd been doing, what all of us have been doing. It really is too much. I'm sorry, I really truly am. And I really did wish that things could have been different. I still do. Perhaps they still can be. The snake lifts his gaze at last. Earnest and demure, he looks to the fine-horned, seafoam-haired, step-wide-backed prince. After we played music together, later that night, the thought which kept biting at the back of my neck was just I wished it could have happened sooner, so that it could happen again. Long have I thought I knew Argos, but now, with everything that has come to light, I wish to know you. Nikos smiles at last, with the innocent joy of a youth. He looks from the Minotaur to you, giving both lords of this realm a deferential nod. If there's anything I can do to make things up to you, to both of you, then all you need to do is ask. Sounds good to me. Asterion, I'm sorry again for keeping you in the dark about all of this.
Please, Leo, rest assured I hold no hard feelings. Never towards you, and not at all towards Nikos.
Asterion's smile betrays the laughter kept down behind his tight-pressed lips. He drops his gaze at the desk between the two of you, and Nikos, searching within the winding grain of the wood for the avenue of his thoughts.
It seems the gods do speak in happenstance. I met another Dominikos recently, who only spoke to via messages over the internet.
Oh? You look to the snake and find his lips curling to a wide, impish smile.
Yes, he reminded me very much of you. Playful in his words, I mean, though somewhat of a foil to you as well. I never asked where in Greece he hails from, but he is a very Christian man. In our conversations we talked about the Gospels quite a bit. Some of the finest bio of the era.
Nikos flicks his tongue. Now he's wearing a coy smirk.
And that reminds me. In all the upset last night, I'm ashamed to admit I forgot. He contacted me, saying he did need a place to stay, and offered shelter here at the hotel. But he never arrived, either before the ceremony or after it. I've heard nothing from him since. I hope that he's all right.
A titter of mirth leaks out, but Nikos is quick to disguise it with a cough. Well, you know what they say, God works in mysterious ways. Coincidentally, I also made a friend online pretty recently. We spoke together about various things, including religion. This may come as a surprise, despite what you may think. My family and I aren't that unfamiliar with Christianity. Anyway, my friend told me all about his favourite passage. The Beatitudes. A pretty good taste, right? The tide can be stemmed no longer. Nikos burst into a fit of giggling, swaying back and forth.
So you were?
Yes, that was me. I hope you don't mind I use the hotel's Wi-Fi. It reaches surprisingly far. Asterion can only look to you as he processes this revelation.
Did you know of this as well?
I had a couple of suspicions, but I didn't know for certain until I confronted this rascal about everything last night. He's been messaging me too, you see. Not anything as respectable as Bible passages. You pull out your phone to show him the many images from Lucas Walker Griffin. He stares at your phone. The light of understanding has never been more extinguished for the Minotaur. Don't worry about it. Both you and your Minotaur turn your gazes back to the snickering serpent, this devious little rascal. I wouldn't think a priest would also be such an avid shitposter. Yes, well...
As his mirth dies down, the embers of shame still smoulder. The snake ducks his head once more, fidgets with his sweater once more, shifts and settles upon his coils once more.
I'm sorry about that too. Just like when I was playing Argos, I really did mean everything I said.
Oh, I see. Well then.
The Minotaur moves around the desk, approaching the snake. Nikos flinches, able to stop an anxious hiss from leaking out as the prince looms tall over him. He grows still when a pair of heavy hands claps him on the shoulders, looks up into a pair of bright, starry eyes.
It is an honour to meet you in person at last, Nikos Papadakis. Please allow me to be your host and repay your sweet words and online companionship with only the finest hospitality.
He gulps, nods, beams. Thank you.
Asterion, gracious co-owner and warm-hearted friend, clears his throat to keep silence from overtaking the conversation. It still leaves the question of what Lord Hermes even meant to accomplish with all of this. Nikos, if not directly, you must have been acting at his command. Your time as foreman, you have been able to glean anything of his intentions. He wishes to see me freed from this realm. There must be some kind of plot to achieve that.
Well, that's... The Overseer is, mercurial. As a mortal, I can't really understand myself the motives of the gods. I don't know. Last night... He takes a breath. His hands are trembling. It's reasonable to still feel a bit scared after that, right?
His laughter dribbles out, slow and sickly.
Honestly, from the way he acted, both before and after that incident in the reception, I find it hard to believe he understood his own motive. He did seem remorseful about what he almost did, at least. Just like he wasn't even in his right state of mind. For one thing, he kept calling Asterion Io, as though he was reliving that myth. Perhaps he was.
The serpent's brow furrows.
He hisses around the flickering of his tongue. When he sees you and Asterion looking at him, waiting for him to finish his thought, he does his best to draw himself up. There's power in the old stories, in all the patterns and cycles that keep coming up over and over again, a power that even the gods must fear and respect. Now Papuri made sure to teach me that, like his predecessor taught him, and on and on. It's possible he's trying to use that power for his own ends and got swept up in it. But even so, I know he must have had something in mind.
It seems then we must get answers from him directly. Have you any way to contact him? He left suddenly last night without leaving any.
I did give Jean my phone number back when he showed up with Robert. I haven't got any messages from him after that, so I don't have his. Well, usually it was him getting in contact with me, getting specific orders. That was extremely rare, keeping up appearances and all that. However, I did receive one such order from him in the middle of the night. In person, or... The snake's expression is blank. No, by text.
Oh, right. And?
For a moment, Nikos is once more taken by nervous anxiety. For a moment, he must once more don the mask of pious acolyte, if only to keep his hands and mind in check. The Overseer wishes to contact you later today, so that he may more fully explain himself. He wishes to speak with you and Asterion about the truth behind the Labyrinth, how to move forward with his plan for the both of you. His plans for us, huh? And did he let slip just what those might be? No, he didn't outright say. But it's pretty clear they weren't for my ears. A shaky smile below watery eyes. My role in all of this has already ended, after all. Are you sure you can't stay? His smile grows a little wider, his eyes soft as cotton. I wish I could. But... First of all, I have no idea what Lord Hermes has planned for me. I just want to return home to see my Mama and Bampas again. But if my failure here brings his wrath down the whole village, then I want to believe he would stay his hand. But after last night, he clears his throat. Second, well, you may not believe this. It's actually pretty funny, but a hoarse chuckle. I'm actually in the middle of going to school to become an actor. When the call from Argos came, I took the semester off to audition for the role. Now that everything's finished here, I should probably go back.
If you could hold such presence in life, you could certainly hold it on stage. I can imagine you either as the ghost of Darius or Xerxes in Persians.
Oh, I thank you. But Sophocles is more my bag. Less poetic intensity, more humanity.
As long as you don't believe Euripides superior.
Well, you'd have your work cut out for you. Dominikos gives you another, more playful bow. Honestly, so it's probably better experience I get at any internship or rep work I could hope for. Despite how it turned out. He lets out a quiet hiss. Last, but not least, I want to make sure the institution the Argoi comes to an end, permanently. It's probably already set in stone, but I don't know. If the Overseer abandons us after everything, Well, I'd say you still deserve some time off. A vacation, or maybe we could offer you a temp job if you would prefer. Either way, there's a room with your name on it available. For, at the very least, a couple days.
Oh, no. After all has happened, we must allow him to enjoy hospitality for longer than that. As a matter of fact, I insist upon it.
His starry eyes, too, are cotton soft, yet his voice is firm and unyielding. I can't, Lord Hermes.
Will not harm you or yours. We shall make sure of it. You said he's unable to interfere too boldly in matters pertaining to the realm, correct?
Well, yes, but
I'm sure we can find some compromise which will satisfy him while discussing his plans for us. And should anything happen, then your family will find a hearth and a bed waiting for them here as well. This will not be the first time a hotel has hosted refugees. Will the school you're attending be opening its doors in the immediate future?
Well, no. Registration next semester is still a ways off, but
And things remain the same. You may stay here and enjoy the comforts this realm provides for as long as you wish. And as for ensuring the end of the Argoi, I shall provide whatever you need. Records, personal accounts, anything, which will make it easier for you to convince any who need convincing.
The snake hisses to himself, head tucked and shoulders still, even as his smile struggles to break through shamefaced deference. You're serious about this, aren't you?
I am. I know now who he is, but only barely. And for as long as he wishes to stay, he is a guest who I must learn more of.
Again his gaze meets that of the bashful serpent.
If you do insist on leaving, may we at least continue talking over the internet?
Of course, I'd like that very much. Once again a quiet and sibilant hiss. And regarding Lord Hermes, well, I suppose we'll have to see what he says. Yeah, we can do that as well during the phone call with him. Asterion's brow furrows as he looks from you to Nikos and back again.
Perhaps, all considered, it would only be fair for Nikos to be present as well. Olympian he may be, but Lord Hermes has much to answer for regarding his conduct to the Argoi's overseer.
Well, I don't disagree. Do you think it'd be a good idea? We can't really be sure how he'll react. If you'd allow me. Nikos has to force himself to straighten his shoulders and lift his head. Look at you and Asterion, jaws set and eyes focused, to fill his lungs with fresh, sweet, scented air. When at last he manages it, he speaks once more in the voice of your most loyal servant. I wish to hear everything directly from him. I can stay quiet so he won't know I'm there. I've had some very good practice with that over my tenure here.
Then it is settled.
Seems so. We're still need to figure out how to go about this, what to say to him. First, we should probably figure out a way to make sure he doesn't get any more clever ideas. Something binding so he won't be able to wriggle out of it. Well, I did offer to have you learn all about how to use contracts to your advantage, right? You did, yes. So then, we can put all our heads together and figure out how to proceed.
I'll make sure to keep my horns out of the way if we are to.
Now it's the Horn-Crowned Prince who shifts and fidgets with nervous anxiety. His hooves scrape against the floor, while his ears and tail flick to an offbeat rhythm.
I actually have the matters I must attend to, regarding our other 2 new guests, if at all possible.
All right, yes. I should want to speak to them here for privacy's sake.
If it'll be no trouble.
None at all. Nikos and I can talk about getting things set up and we can all reconvene later. In the meantime, Nikos. The snake turns his attention to you with a curious flicking of his tongue. How about I show you around and get you fully settled in? I could even give you a full tour of the facilities if you'd like. We've done our best to make this little corner of the realm, at the very least, as comfortable as possible. If I can be honest, I think I could use a little comfort, yes. If you're interested, I could even take you to see some of the old art in the basement. I think there was a Picasso down there. Sure.
Well then, I'll leave our guests in your capable hands, Leo. I shall see you both later.
Thank you. Your hospitality and, well, everything. He cannot stop himself from giving you and Asterion, co-rulers of this realm, a low and reverent bow. If circumstances allow, they'd be happy to stay for as long as you'd have me.
A week at the very least.
Either way, after all the upset last night, I'm sure our Argos Panoptes will have a restful stay. Panoptes dreams. The nighttime breeze soars across the continent, over the dunes and down to the sea. It whistles and howls all around the peacock as he sinks his feet into the sand. His gaze is fixed upon his meagre bonfire, fed with coal and wood, swaying with the wind. He inches closer in the hope that its warmth might seep through his feathers. He is not alone. A handful of salt thrown on the flame sends it flickering and crackling anew. Panoptes feels the sandy shore beneath their feet, admires the starry sky far above. How many times has it been like this? When he was 4, 5, 6 years old, in the final years of his parents' marriage, back when they could still tolerate each other enough to vacation at the beach. His tiny hand, baby feathers still coating it, could only hold so much salt. Perhaps something within him, that thing shackled to recursion, already knew that this ritual could ward off evil. Perhaps that was his way of coping. The time moves forward. His grandfather was there now, teaching him his first precious rites. It was then that the threat of the occult, its promise of rebellion against fate, first captivated his teenage mind. That night, as the salt trickled from his hand, the fire singeing the tips of his feathers, an oath was sworn. There were his other masters too, of course, dozens if not hundreds of knights standing under the stars with them and learning their rites. Laura, the family friend who first taught him how to stave off recursion. Carla taught him the frightful rites passed down over generations of slaves, meant to be respected and feared in equal measure. Diego, who came from the south, taught him the diaspora communities and their rites, mixing the Latin tradition and those of their homelands into one. Salt purification, influenced by Buddhist thought, how to give a soul to an inanimate object based on Shinto deification. The Italian and very Catholic way in which charms are once created. Even Nini, God rest his soul, who taught him how to further attune himself to that nameless emotion. all the nights alone, studying the miracles that created the rites, telling and retelling the stories until new interpretations arose. With Storm, too, that unruly child, when disguised Panoptes extended the thread of his own humanity, inducting a protégé of his own into society, into his circle, into the greater heritage of the Latin tradition. Oscar, that inquisitive young man, a true diamond in the rough if he had ever seen one. A textbook right on his first try, down to the most traditional refinements, as though the boy was attuned to the original stories themselves. Surely he'll make a fine occultist one day. What a privilege it was to induct one such as him into their tradition. The Panoptes will have to call all his old masters to boast and gush about him. Oscar. The haze dissipates. With a start, the Panoptes finds himself back in the waking world. For a moment he expects to see either the bare ceiling of his apartment or the moulding walls of the inn. Outside the window cars would be speeding by, and beyond the living room would be the bustle of life. He'd always wake up disoriented, those scant few times when he could sleep. Today is no exception. But something all too familiar brings him back to reality. Oscar. Before opening the eyes in his head, with those in his tail feathers, he sees the Minotaur sleeping on the other bed within arm's reach. Safe, away from the mess of the previous night. And finally, at the hotel. It was all real. All of it. And, in an almost absurd twist, it had brought two Minotaurs together. He looks at the boy, sprawled out like a big, messy angel, but perfect and dear nonetheless. Full of dreams of his own, talent, brilliance. He wants to learn music. He wants to go to a cool school. He peeked at the Peacock spellbook, that aspiring occultist. And today, the Peacock has to stop himself from crying at the idea of realizing this bright young man's every dream. I'll make sure of it. Whatever you goddamn want, kid. Oscar stirs and rolls over to face Pedro, still rubbing the sleep from his eyes. What'd you say? Oh, nothing. Just thinking you'd make a fine musician. It's far too early for the boy to catch a pun. What a tragedy. He just stares at the older man, eyes still hazy as they peer out from under his furrowed brow. Never mind, you'll get it eventually. All right. The Minotaur sits up, rubbing his face and taking stock of the unfamiliar room. Well, this place sure is fancy, ain't it? Yeah, guess nice beds and sheets are easy to get when you can just make diamonds rain from your fingertips. It's all fucking real. Your grandpa wasn't crazy and there really is another Minotaur. I'm not alone. Yeah, it all feels like a dream, doesn't it? I reckon you and that Steron girl have a lot of catching up to do. Yeah. God, I don't even know where to start. I'm sure you know what to say when you're in front of him. Oh, I guess. Say, do you think it was the bracelet that got us here? That precious thing, a gift from his boy, made with what remained of his grandfather's charm. The result of a perfect ritual. Like severing the thread of fate. Though a part of him still insisted not even an immaculate rite could achieve such an effect. Well, we sure as hell couldn't find it before, could we? Oscar blushes, holds back bashful laughter, and almost shrinks into himself. It's all because of you, kid. Never before has the Minotaur been so happy to be called kid, boy, lad, whatever came to the Peacock's mind. A part of him even allows himself to dream of it. And Pedro smiles at seeing an everlasting joy in Oscar, the happiness that builds life, upon which all that is good may be constructed. A homey pride between the two men, a feedback loop of warmth and wonder fills the room. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me, Oscar.
And that's when Pedro found me. Just walked right up to me with his charm on, asking if I owned a hotel. Can you believe that? I was wearing not at all no clothes, sleeping in a hole in a cliff wall, and that's what he asked me.
After your departure, Asterion prepared coffee and pastries for the peacock and his fellow Minotaur, who speaks now with a wide smile and animated gestures.
Then, like it or nothing, showed me a charm's work and offered to make me one. I fucking swear I thought he was some kind of demon coming from my soul. Oh yeah, later that night we sat down and he made me one. He's all coy about it too. Tell me it wasn't a good one because we didn't have good ingredients. Bullshit.
Pedro almost spills his coffee when Oscar tugs him closer by the shoulder.
Pedro here knows magic. He's got a whole goddamn spellbook with all sorts of rights. And half a dozen ways to make charms. How the fuck you want them? Jesus, Oscar. You're gonna scare Asterion away having that much energy this early in the morning.
Oscar jumps, looks to Asterion with earnest contrition, only to receive a brief chuckle and a shake of the head in return. With a laugh of his own, the peacock reaches over to ruffle the fur between the younger Minotaur's flicking ears.
It's getting a hard time, don't worry. Wish you were this motivated every morning, though.
Oscar sticks his tongue out at Pedro before continuing.
Thing is, the charm actually makes me look like his kid, 'cause the kind of ride he did to make it. People get us mixed up all the time now. Even when I pick up the phone, they sometimes think I'm him. And he goes along with it too. Straight up tells them I'm his son. And then they get all weird because he's too young to have a kid my age. Shit's hilarious.
Oscar does not suppress his laughter. Pedro does.
It's really how you keep wearing my clothes. Maybe trying to mimic my accent. Oh, yeah? Well, I remember a good dozen or two times when you'd slip up and show your foot on the hinterlands too.
I think you got it wrong, kid.
If I do slip up, it's just because I know you like it.
There's a smirk on Pedro's beak. The warmth in his eyes, shared with Oscar, lends his words of frank sincerity.
Since you're on the subject of my embarrassing country bumpkin accent, we can continue the story since we got sidetracked.
Oscar continues on, full of excitement, with Pedro adding in more details and occasional correction. What the peacock doesn't correct, however, is how much of a guiding force the young Minotaur says he has been. Eventually, all is told, up to the night before. Oscar plops back down in his seat at Pedro's side.
The two of you seem to be quite the duo. Maybe I should not say this, but it is like looking into a mirror.
Sounds you got your own story to tell.
Let us just say that the way in which you two met reminds me of me and Leo. We had what could be called a rocky start as well. But now here we are managing the hotel together. It took some time for us to get to this point, in truth. But Leo's always been very patient whenever I needed anything. He's been a force to be reckoned with regarding the operation of the hotel. I'm grateful every day to have met him.
Quite the improvement on how things used to be, isn't it?
Asterion meets the peacock's gaze. A hoof slides against the floor, filling the silence with a whisper-soft rasp.
Tail feathers shimmer as they shift and readjust.
Oscar, would you please wait outside for a moment? There is something I've been meaning to discuss with Pedro.
You guys keeping secrets now? Already? It's way too early for you to be eyeing up my inheritance, kid. Give me a few decades, then we'll talk.
Worry not. It's not secret per se. Merely a somewhat private matter concerning Pedro's family. Business talk, you could say.
Well, alright then.
I'll be in the living room.
The younger man rises to leave the office. Neither the older Minotaur nor the peacock watch him go. The smile Asterion had been given to Oscar's storytelling fades. The concern on his face, now turned towards Pedro, is no less warm and honest. The panopticist takes a breath to gather himself, before he can say anything.
Your grandfather was the most diligent and dedicated employees we have ever had. I cannot forget him. Of course, that only makes what happened all the more tragic, and...
The feathers on Pedro's neck stand on end.
I presume you have questions.
Just who the hell are you?
The Minotaur bites his lip. He leans back in his chair, grazes a hoof over the floor, breathes in, all to buy time to think. My name is Asterion. I am the co-owner of this hotel. The peacock hasn't touched his coffee since he set it down. His fingers dig into his knees.
That's not what I mean. I saw you in my grandfather's feather. You already here back in 1944, and you haven't aged a goddamn day. The only thing that's changed is your fur colour. I saw it all. It's 4 years of work since the day you welcomed him. That whole mess with the previous owner. And he told me about you. Said you could make diamonds rain from your fingertips. Now you can do it through his feathers. I saw you. Saw you working down in that place. You're already old back then. There were documents down there with your signature dated back centuries ago. You can do things no master of the occult ever could. 80 years passed with this hotel staying empty, till one day you and the owner come down and... Why? What happened? Forgive me, but what are you?
Asterion leans further back. His mind trots, and just what would happen were he simply to tell the truth. Perhaps P's descendant deserves to know, considering everything that has happened. But there is fear, too. A fear he cannot quite put into words, makes an excitement yet more unfathomable. A deep breath in and out, while Pedro's gaze remains fixed. When Asterion speaks at last, his voice comes out different, with a stoicism as old as stoicism itself. The old master expelled all the guests and closed off the realm. Only I remained, waiting for the day that a new one would arrive. 80 years was how long it took for that to come to pass, and for all that time I was locked away as a prisoner. Leo freed me. He had been given ownership of this realm, and together we restored it. That I can tell you without reservation. But if you truly wish to know who or what I am, then I promise I'll answer your questions at another time. Despite last night's incident, your arrival is truly blessed. You are a descendant of one of our old employees, along with your friend, Oscar. By the 12, 2 blessings walking in, together. I don't wish to tarnish this occasion with my sad tale. Please, allow me to be the greatest host I can be to you before we touch on such matters. After a journey as long as what Oscar related, you deserve more for your efforts than for my history to sour it. I promise, once things settle somewhat. Is this acceptable, Pedro? Pedro scrutinizes the Minotaur, the bass of his voice, the honourable set of his brow, the almost regal form of his speech. He sees it all. He sees, too, something far more essential. Fear. Fear that the peacock could take the younger Minotaur away. And beyond that, the same hope that glimmered in Oscar's eyes, of meeting another of his kind. That would do. The peacock could trust that. All right. I agree to those terms. Good. Then let us set that aside for now and turn instead to the discussion of your inheritance. Your grandfather's savings were not insignificant, and they belong still to your family. However, it's only fair that we consider an adjustment to account for inflation and interest. Now we must also add in adequate compensation for the previous owner's actions, which will also be adjusted, of course. Your grandfather... is he still with us? No, he died a few months back. I see. My condolences. Asterion drops his gaze while he rifles through desk drawers and ledgers. Pedro sees the sluggish lethargy of every movement. It wasn't your fault. The previous owner thrown everyone out, I mean. Young Gramps, the others too.
We all got together to keep the guy sane, help him through things. It's just too far gone. Only so much anyone could do to help someone like him, all fucked up physically and mentally from living a horrible life. That snake downstairs putting ideas in his head didn't help any. None of it was your fault. I saw it all and I can attest to that. And Gramps, he hope he touched it. And you still remember him.
Coming from you, that means the world to me. Did those feathers really reveal all of that to you?
Yeah, can't hear what people are saying, but I'm good at reading lips.
It always seemed as though your grandfather had eyes in the back of his head, but I never imagined just how literal that was.
I usually keep it a secret. It took me a while to tell Oscar. I reckon these are exceptional circumstances we're in.
Indeed.
Asterion resumes his search, finds at last what he's looking for.
Now, regarding the amount that we owe you.
The Minotaur pulls out a folder marked with a single letter, a P printed in neat script, and places it on the desk. Then he flips it open to reveal a few, clearly new pieces of printer paper sitting atop a stack of very old documents. Pedro grasps his barely touched coffee cup, only to move it aside while he leans in for a closer look.
We're still crunching the numbers, but can say for sure it'll be at least 40 million United States dollars. Sadly, we've not regained access to our bank accounts, and our cash reserves are a bit outdated. So it may take a few weeks for us to gather the full sum and transfer it to you in a legally acceptable way. But if you prefer, we could pay you some relics instead. I'm told that Pablo Picasso's works go for a hefty sum nowadays. We have a few prints sitting in storage.
Pedro's thumbs dig against the wood of the desk. Harder. He stares down at the papers laid out before him. It can't be that much. This has to be a joke. He searches the numbers, but trying to read upside down proves difficult.
I can make copies of all of this for you, if you'd like.
Pedro notices the trembling tension in his arms. He straightens his back and finally takes a sip of lukewarm coffee. He does not dare to meet the Minotaur's gaze. Asterion, for his part, maintains his tight, closed smile.
Do you have relatives? Depending on inheritance laws, they may be entitled to a sizable share of this amount. These affairs can be ruinous when mishandled. Though we do have a lawyer on staff, and he might be able to assist in this matter. The amount can also be adjusted if that would be preferable. Pedro?
Yeah, I have a dad. No siblings.
Any aunts or uncles?
No. But I'm my grandfather's sole heir. Dad already rejected his share of it, so it's all been left to me.
Oh?
Yeah, he and Gramps didn't get along. Life was rough for all of us, and he didn't believe this place was real. Thought Gramps was crazy for spending his whole life trying to find it again. If I'm being honest, that's why I came here. I wanted to prove it was real, that Gramps wasn't crazy. Even crossed my mind to get his savings, or there'd be fucking millions of dollars. I mean, are you sure you did your math right? You didn't add in a 0 or 2 by mistake, did you?
Well, sure, you can't be any lower than that. There are, after all, 80 years of interest to account for as well.
Phenoptes opens his beak to speak. He stops. Consternation gathers upon his brow. He sips his coffee. He takes a breath. Fuck.
I understand this is a lot to take in, even more so after the incident last night. If you'd like, I can arrange a financial counsellor for you as well. We used to have one as part of the staff, but Well, that is another matter entirely. Regardless, suppose you may need to speak with your father, yes?
Asteron watches the pursed corners of Pedro's beak, the set of his brow, the way his eyes dart over the documents from line to line. And the Panoptis smiles, small, shaky, hesitant, yet warm and at ease. Asteron lets out a sigh of relief. The tension in the air, in both of their backs, in Pedro's throat and the Minotaur's chest, relaxes. I guess I do. Dad? What do you want? Well, did you just call me to Wismet? We found it. The hotel, I mean. Oscar and I found it. We're here right now. It's all true. It's in the middle of a desert. It's under the Minotaur. Hundreds of guests. Charms that work here. Everyone speaks the same language. I found Grandpa's feathers, too. Looked into him, and I saw his time working here. Saving up to come back home, and it's just like he said. Gramps was right. I got pictures too. Just send them, you can see it all for yourself. That Grandpa wasn't crazy. The dull thud of a fist against something. Pedro hears a heavy, huffed-out, wincing breath. Dad? You're crazy, just like he was. You can check the pictures and see for yourself, Dad. I even sent videos. Please, you can see it for yourself, and I think we can get you here too. Then you'll... No! You don't know shit, you stupid... fucking runt! Do you have any idea how I would keep you away from his bullshit? Gets out from under the wing of that alcoholic, schizophrenic lunatic? That goddamn bastard was never right by anything. Dad, I literally talk with people. Another thud and the sound of something breaking. Just because you spent a week in drowned tape here, now you think you know? You don't have the slightest idea what kind of sick, masochistic freak he was. That's what I get for half-assing it. I should have never let him near you. Maybe I should have rubbed your face in all the shit he did to us. Showing you my scars. Got you talking to your grandma so she could tell you what he was like. Then you see that fucking... Dad, please. Where are you anyway? Some faggot bar that backwater shit you picked up? What kind of idiot are you, huh? You know he's just leeching off of you, right? So the money dries up, he'll rob you blind and leave your ass in the gutter. His throat clenches shut. No words come. So? Cut that bullshit. Where the hell are you? He concentrates to keep from crying. There's a mist before his eyes. Every breath is deliberate, forced. A scoff from the other end of the line. That's what I thought. Maybe you should go on back to drowned tape here. You can learn from your dear old Gramps really was. Or die trying. If you get yourself killed, it'd be one less thing for me to waste my time on. Call me again when you aren't delusional. Or better yet, not at all. Grateful piece of shit. When Pedro returns to the office, he finds Asteron still sitting in the same place, looking at the documents in Gramps' folder. Looking at him.
Is everything all right?
He doesn't look back at the Minotaur. He searches where he'd put down his coffee. He needs to give his hands something to do. I guess life goes on. Still looking at him, watching him.
Should I bring Oscar in? Or would you like a moment of privacy?
He can't find his coffee cup. Another fucking failure. I'd like that, yeah.
Oscar, yes, could you come in, please?
It's all right. It's all right. You have all the time in the world. You're safe here. Everything will be all right. You are, and always will be, welcome here, no matter what happens. It took time for Pedro to be ready to face the day again. It'll still take more time yet for him to be okay. When you and Asteron met back up, he whispered to you of what had happened, that he's worried about the two Brazilian guests. Pedro, even while visibly fragile, put on a steadfast face for Oscar. He smiled and nodded along to conversations. The exhaustion would not leave him. Even when he suggested having lunch together, perhaps further discussing the matter of his inheritance over a drink, that exhaustion proved infectious. Even Luke's blithe cheer falters. Asteron invited the Griffin along as well. He had apparently offered to help get all the calculating and estimating done, and now he sits in sullen silence to your left. The invariable awkwardness for Pin to play mires the whole table. Nobody knows what to do or to say. Finally, a hand extended in the peacock's direction breaks through the disquietude.
Listen, you don't mind, but so I know I hear some of your conversation back in the office. You're saying your Gramps stole air, right? For the look of things, your dad don't seem to want a deal here right now.
Luke leans forward to peer the peacock's downcast face.
You know, family has its ups and downs. Maybe this wasn't a good day for him. It'll be more reasonable tomorrow. But if he ain't, well, you got the inheritance all to yourself, don't you?
With a squawk, he smacks Pedro on the back harder to make the other man cough. The peacock's gaze, however, does grow a little less distant.
Now, I know money can't buy happiness, and it sure as hell ain't a substitute for family. I know that all too well, as a matter of fact. If you don't mind me rambling for a bit, your situation kind of reminds me of my own. Owned a few businesses over the years, put some of the money in investments, have a nice little nest egg all saved up. I don't have any kids myself, but I have enough nieces and nephews to fill a whole dang room. Of course, I helped them with raising them, paying for their school and so on, but I also want to leave a good inheritance from all too. Problem is, there's so many running around who just can't save enough to, make any of them rich. I start picking favourites. I'd rather chop my wings off than do that. So, well.
The Griffin leans back in his seat to look up at the ceiling.
It fucking sucks your pa cut contact, but
A shrug with both shoulders and wings.
Now you can make your own family and be a better person than your old man. Just gotta be responsible and learn how to invest. That way you get an interest in compensating inflation and all that. Hell, won't even have to work you don't want to, as long as you're not spending more than the investments are bringing in.
Everyone at the table stares at the Griffin.
Hey, I ain't just a pretty face, I tell you what. Trust me, Peter, my boy. I know all this shit works. If you want, you and me can sit down together someday. I'll teach you all about it.
Asteron clears his throat with a polite cough.
There is something I would like to say as well. Our employees enjoy many privileges, Pedro, which we've long extended to their families as well. You may stay here for as long as you want, whenever you want, so you can rest assured there'll always be a home for you, no matter what. You can even use the hotel for travel.
Oh, really?
Usually guests can only return to a specific place in the outside world where they are pulled into the hotel. However, it is possible for one to choose where they are dropped off, if they know how. You could travel the whole world like that if you so desire. As you're a descendant of one of our old employees, we'll do anything and everything in our power to aid you.
It really is the least we can do. Pedro closes his eyes, taking all that he's heard.
Are you feeling better?
There is something you could help me with.
In one fell swoop, Pedro downs a double whiskey he ordered with lunch. When he's done, he slams the empty glass back down onto the table. I really can go whenever I want, like you say. There's something I want to do back in the outside world. Shouldn't take long, maybe 2 or 3 hours. But, and I hope you understand, given how hard it was to find this place. I'd like one of you to come with us, so I know for sure there's a way back in.
Us?
You're coming with me. I reckon you probably want to keep talking that stare around here. The whole point is I want to fulfill my promise to you. Oscar's ears flick, his hooves shuffle against the floor. His mouth flops open and closed. They can't disguise a small smile at the corners of his lips. Pedro turns to give you, Asteria, and Luke a nod. So, can one of you come with me? Alright. Since you're the one to get him out of his slump, Luke, could you get one of the hotel's credit cards and be his escort? Perhaps one might expect a smirk, a guffaw, or a raunchy joke or slip of the tongue. However, the Griffin's expression holds little more than anticipatory glee. Oh, hell yeah! What about being taken hostage, if you like? So, where are we going? I don't know for sure, but we can start with Sao Paulo.
Pedro, what the... what's this even about? This ain't like you.
Pedro stands, stretches, then looks at Oscar, equal parts pleading and excited. You said you wanted to be a musician, right? Back in the hinterlands while we were driving around that one night. I promised you if we found the hotel I'd help you do that. So, let's go. You at least need an instrument to get yourself started. So, what'll it be? Guitar? Bass? Cello? Marimba? That fucking wobbly-ass theremin thing?
I mean, you got me those guitar magazines now and then, so maybe,
Don't just go off some random magazines that I thought you might like. Must be something you'd really want. How about a grand fucking piano? Or you blow people away playing the violin. Something tells me it ain't exactly your style.
Maybe not. I mean, could still be cool, maybe.
Or maybe drums? Does that...
Yeah, drums. And a garage.
Yeah? Gonna make so much noise that none of our neighbours can sleep at night?
Oh, I bust their eardrums and my polyrhythms.
Get better. That's what I'm hoping for.
Wait, what about your eardrums?
Oh, Oscar. Couldn't care less about those right now. The younger Minotaur is struggling now to suppress his grin.
I mean, you can just give me a starter set. You don't gotta go all out, or...
Like hell I don't. Let's roll. Eager as Oscar may be to head out, Pedro still ends up dragging him along by the arm, but not for snatching an open bottle of wine from the bar's counter. Hey now, don't rush on ahead without your hostage. He squawks out a laugh as he follows. Yeah, have your ride too, fellas. With that, you and your Minotaur are left alone together at your table. Well. I hope they have fun.
Yes. I do hope that Pedro will be alright after all that. He was quite affected and, well, I do know how it is to be quite affected.
That makes sense. Would you like to go sit someplace quieter for a bit? Asteria nods. The first thing he does is make an offering and rekindle the hearth. You watch your Minotaur say his prayer, light the twigs, pour the wine. Already he seems to have gathered himself again. When he sits on the sofa nearest the hearth, he meets your gaze at last.
We do have a few moments to spare, correct?
You sit down as well, your thigh pressed against his. Don't worry, I can keep an eye on the clock. Just relax for a while. You sidle up close to snake an arm around his back. He adjusts himself against you and offers an affirmative little grumble and smile in return.
Thank you.
Leaning closer, he shuffles his arm around your shoulders as well. His hand fidgets. But it calms soon enough. Asterion closes his eyes, ears pointed towards the hearth, comforted by your presence. It proves difficult to watch the clock too closely, though. The crackling of the fire drowns out the sounds of the hotel. Even here, so close to the lobby, the hearth begets a silence befitting a proper temple. What's more difficult is to not give one's full attention to Asterion's considerable yet gentle weight, settling upon you, almost swaddling you. Has he fallen asleep? You open your eyes. When exactly had they slipped shut? With a grunt, then a yawn, you look up to make good on your promise to keep track of the time. A certain dragon can be seen wandering the lounge, searching for something. For you, it seems. When his eye catches yours, he waves a small folded object above his head and points at it. You realise now that your pocket does feel a bit too light. However, before Kota can even complete the gesture, he notices the weighted blanket wrapped tightly around you. What is that twinkle in his eyes? Was that a chuckle jostling his shoulders just now? Why is he working so hard to suppress that mischievous grin? You begin to speak, but the darling, his rest. Kota waves his free hand in your direction, then makes an OK sign, then begins his approach. He tiptoes across the room towards you and Asterion, keeping absolutely quiet. With a deep and silent bow, he places your wallet next to the thigh not pressed against the Minotaur's. You would nod in gratitude were a bovine cheek not pressed against your own. Kota leaves, still tiptoeing, with a wink. At least it wasn't Luke. Finally, you get a chance to read the clock. He is going to call soon. But for the moment, this blessed little moment, there is still time for a quick nap. You will need to regroup with Nikos and make sure that you yourself are ready. But what better way to prepare your mind than by spending a few more minutes decompressing with this lovely man? You can hear him breathe. His short, fine fur smells warm as the hearth. You can even feel each breath, every lungful in the arm around his step-wide back. The rising and falling of his chest rocks you, lulls you to peaceful rest. However, not even the gods can fight necessity. Your phone sits on the desk. You, Asterion, Nikos all watch it and wait. So, I guess any minute. You put it on speaker. There's a deep breath, and then a sigh on the other end of the line. Hello? Neo. Yes. I'm here. A glance at Nikos. He takes a sharp breath. With Asterion. A long, slow, silent sigh. You wanted to talk? Yes. There's only one way this conversation can begin, and that's with an apology. I am sorry. I cannot apologize enough, truly. I'm ashamed to no end over what happened, and I'm sorry that I could not keep myself in my right mind. I know that's no excuse, but it is also the reason I need to talk to you. The way I acted last night is unforgivable, and I want it to never happen again. But I need your help for that. I can't tell you how horrified I was with myself. Horrified to realize how I hadn't been in my right mind for days and days, but then, when we were speaking in the infirmary, I could feel that fog overtaking my mind again as we spoke, and I could not let myself be like that around all of you again. Not after how I was before. He sounds out of breath. Never has he sounded older. So, would you please hear me out? The face of Asterion is all compassion and confusion. The face of Nikos is a mask of terror, the very same as it was last night. I wouldn't hear your request, but only if certain conditions are met. Simple ones, mind you, meant to establish a safe common ground for us all. Hermes, still catching his breath, sighs. Very well. What are your terms? You will swear an oath by the sticks, binding yourself to obey the following commandments. Neither you, nor any of your followers or other associates shall bring harm to the guests, staff, or inhabitants of this realm, nor to their families or loved ones. On top of that, you must also swear to bring no harm to any of the Panoptoi or the Cadmian snakes. Second, you will respect my authority as master of the Labyrinth, and shall not interfere with how I manage it. You may interfere only if I explicitly request it, and only in the form I establish. Third, you will henceforth answer all questions and inquiries truthfully, the fullest extent of your knowledge. No more tricks, no more games. If you agree to these terms, then I'll hear what you have to say and consider it. I do not promise to follow your request. I'll do so only if it is truly worth my while, but I will honestly and openly listen to what you have to say. My terms require only that you refrain from intervening. I think they're pretty reasonable, wouldn't you say? Silence from the end of the line. But whether it's silence for a chastened youth, or of a hunter considering his mark, is difficult to tell. A sharp inhale of pain. Of course. He takes in a slow, deep breath. So do Nikos and Asterion. I swear an oath upon the dread goddess Styx to all that you have said. The air grows heavier. And may Nyx, Nemesis, and the Gentle Ones strike me with further madness should I intervene, or butt into any business of the hotels, or with any Panoptes or Cadmian snake, unrequested or unallowed. What a lovely invitation. I promise the depth of Hades to keep nothing from you that you request, to answer all questions to the best of my ability. A blinding silence flows through the room, then dissipates. Now, your end of the bargain. May I begin? Yes, proceed. Asterion and I are listening. Another long silence. Asterion looks to you. You reach over to hold his hand. I am losing my mind, and I need your help. Not just me alone, mind you. I'm one of the very few Olympians left with any of their wits about them. Asterion's fur bristles as he squeezes your hand. Nikos keeps his concentration fixed on the phone. There was a plan. The goal, as I said last night, was to provide a resolution to Asterion's situation, as Poseidon always wanted. When I saw the two of you, how you seemed to feel for one another, I was overjoyed. Things were going well. I figured I could approach you with it all in about 20 or so years, once things were entirely settled. But there's no more time. I'm losing my mind too. When that happens... There goes Asterion's one and only chance. Nikos looks from Asterion to the phone and back again. I can help you. I know how to solve your problem. Together we can set Asterion free. But I need your help as well. Yet again, silence. Allow me to tell you the full story. You know now that I am Hermes, son of Myra and the overseer of this realm. I was given the position by Olympus and have kept tabs on this place ever since. The labyrinth itself was the brainchild of Athena, daughter of Zeus, who wished to create an eternal prison for Poseidon's offspring. Asterion's creed was meant to be only the first of hundreds, if not thousands, of similar prisoners.
Nikos' shoulders tense. Asterion's ears droop.
But of course, there were those among the Olympians who were opposed to Athena's plan, and I was one of them. You see, despite what my faux pas may seem to indicate, all sorts of mortals have always been dear to me. The most ruinously human of the Olympians. That's what my dear sister used to call me. In the end, Athena rigged and won Asterion's trial, but at a grave cost. She was forced to make concessions to get away, chief among them that I would have equal influence in the labyrinth's creation. For every tenet she imposed upon this realm, I left a loophole to undermine it. Because, you see, even if I could not save Asterion, I could spare the remainder of Uncle Poseidon's kin from damnation.
A laugh, slow even, and almost entirely mirthless.
Of course, I succeeded. Athena's grand plan was ruined from the very start by my interference. And also, because it's compromised in a yet more fundamental way. She intended for each Olympian to offer a vast sacrifice of ichor, or immortal blood with which to write the laws of the labyrinth. But again, I foiled his scheme. I convinced my relatives to restrict their donations to a single drop, thus preventing the labyrinth from becoming the new Tartaros she desired. Think of what the realm is capable of doing now. Can you imagine what horrors it could wreak if it had more of our power to draw from?
Nikos clenches both his jaw and his fists. Asterion's trembling lips move in a silent prayer.
Thankfully, I was able to make sure that wouldn't come to pass. And so, she abandoned this little pet project and moved on to the next. But I remained the labyrinth's overseer, bound by my oath, having to perform a handful of maintenance duties. I continued to check in every so often, and I paid very close attention to Asterion's own project, this hotel as he calls it now, which started out little more than a makeshift refugee camp. I am the god of travellers after all. Is it so surprising I'd be pleased by it? Tell me, who do you think made it so this realm would bring in the lost and the forgotten? Or have you know I've made a habit of sending an occasional wanderer your way, Asterion?
Thank you, Lord Hodius.
Another weary, mirthless laugh. No need to thank me, O gracious calf. Anyway, regardless of my personal feelings, I had to keep up appearances, and I needed a convenient scapegoat should my complacency become known. As such, I recruited the Cadmean snakes to become ineffective watchdogs in my stead.
You glance at the Cadmean snake in the room with you. The Argoy?
Yes, so they've taken to calling themselves.
Nikos stares down the floor, sinking into his coils, not making a sound.
So for almost 2,000 years, Asterion kept this hotel running with no major hitches. Masters came and went. Things changed, but it achieved its purpose. Until, of course, that Jean-Marie fellow got it in his head that picking his lunatic brother to be his heir was a good idea. You know what happened then. But what you don't know is what happened to Clement. Rest assured, he lived a miserably long life. Most of it spent as a mindless, destitute, wretched, homeless man. He fell into a coma a few years back, clinging on to dear life when at that point, if that it did at all, it had nothing else to give him. Then he died without leaving an heir behind. Mind you, this was the first time such a thing has ever happened. A master having no successor, I mean. Thankfully, I thought to include a contingency for these sort of circumstances, so the hotel's deed reverted back to me. Which brings us to our most peculiar situation. You see, For the last 30 years or so, Uncle Poseidon has been going around trying to make his peace, dealing with his regrets, which are quite numerous for any god as long-lived as he is. He has long wanted to find a permanent solution for Asterion, but could only act after Clement's death. It was he who gave you the deed, Leo, not Clement. And why did he pick me? How should I know? Barely a chuckle, only exhaustion. I wish I knew, I really do. Even when they were all there, both Father and Uncle Poseidon made many decisions that were, on the surface, inexplicable. Maybe he saw wit in your words, care in your bearing. If I'm being kind, I'd say he thought you were the opposite in every way of the previous masters. But if you want my honest opinion, I think he was just gone already. There's next to no mind left in him. I can easily believe it was pure chance he liked you enough to give you the deed. He did ask me about picking a woman, but Athene herself made sure to prohibit that when we created the Labyrinth. If you can believe it, she thought women didn't have ruthlessness in them. In any case, I can't say he made a bad choice at all. And despite our kerfuffle, I quite like you too. Considering the circumstances, it's only just to say that I respect and appreciate that right hook of yours. All right, and who was it sent the letter? Since it wasn't Clement. That was Poseidon too, of course. I'd hardly call it a letter. More the scribblings of a senile old man. So why did you lie then?
You, Asterion Nikos, will stare at the phone.
Did I?
A sharp inhale. He searches for words. He searches for anything.
He finds nothing. I don't know. You don't know?
A dull thud, the rattle of something or other being fiddled with from the other end of the line. Hermes curses, muffled, away from the receiver. The sound of gritting teeth, frustration, a helpless groan.
What part of me going senile do you not understand?
All right. So, what do you want from us exactly?
It's simple. I need Ichor. All I ask is that you retrieve the drops of divine blood, or what's left of them anyway. With but a single drop, I should be able to stave off my own illness. And with each additional drop you acquire, we can bargain with the other Olympians. Their Ichor in return for their cooperation, their old power. We can overturn Asterion's sentence and set him free. This is what I need from you. And fast, lest... I don't have much time left.
And how do we get those drops of Ichor?
That is the hard part. You see, they won't go down without a fight.
They?
Down in that wretched valley, there are 7 monsters which stand alone, and have stood since the founding of the place, each one crafted by an Olympian to enact some form of torture upon Asterion. The Argos has told me you've encountered one of them already. I believe his kind called the Effigy of Infamy. That one is a bit different from the rest. It's all quite simple, really. Destroy the monsters, and in their remains you will find a single drop of crystallized Ichor. Gather them for me, and you will have Asterion's freedom. The more drops you gather, the more bargaining power we will have, the better our deal will be. For your own good, for the benefit of your people, for Asteria and the Argoi, and the traditions they hold dear. For the man who gave you that deed, who must have seen some mercy in your soul. Destroy those monstrosities and bring peace to the Labyrinth. Please. That is all I want from you. Do what is necessary to set Asterion free.
Hermes sighs, out of breath, tired.
It's a lot to take in, isn't it?
It really is, yes.
Our time is scarce, but not so much that you have no room to think. Talk with the boy, the current Argos, Dominikos. He'll tell you about the monsters. In fact, deliver unto him this message. I have one final task for him before I relieve him of his duties. Tell him to assess the foundations of the labyrinth and report the results back to you. He'll know what that means. Defeating the monsters will be a challenge, but doable with that group of mythicals I've sent your way. You should be well equipped for the task. You will consider my request, yes?
The eyes of both Asteria and Nikos fall upon you, entreating and pleading in turn. Yes, I see the logic in your proposal, though I'll need to do some thinking. How much time do we have, out of curiosity?
From what the Argos has told me, and considering how fast things are going downhill for me, I'd say if you start in the next few days, you'll have the time to spend about 3 dozen or so expeditions the valley. Although I'd very much prefer you don't dilly-dally.
All right. We'll talk it over and I'll keep you posted. Asterion squeezes one of your hands, while the other reaches the phone on the desk. However...
Listen, Leo. Before you go, I really did mean what I said back then, when I brought Robert in, you know? I may be falling apart now, but I promise, by Father Zeus, I fully meant it then. I told you about my son, Pan. He was half human, half goat. He was different, but no less deserving of love. Not so different from Asterion, no? Hermaphroditos was another of my kids. Different, remarkably so, and the same principle applies. I have protected humans and fathered some of the dearest people this world has seen since time immemorial. Seeing how you and Asterion look at each other, it makes me happy as a father. I like you, Leo, and I'm sorry for what I did.
Thank you, Hermes. I'll see what I can do for you. Hermes breathes in. He breathes out. He's struggling.
Thanks.
You look at Asterion, searching for any hint of what may be going through his mind. How earth-shaking must it be to have learned so much about one of the gods he worships, on top of that god's role in the trial which sentenced him. Now must I protect them. You lay a hand on his, and he holds it. The moment is broken, however, by the soft sound of scales rasping over the floor. Nikos approaches, looking from the Minotaur over to you, keeping his head lowered in deference.
Well, I guess I really will be sticking around for a while after all. You was he gave me an order as Argos after all, and if it'll help the two of you...
What?
The foundations of the Labyrinth. Lord Hermes, he asked me to investigate it.
Right, yes. Not really the vacation we promised you.
Yeah, I'll have to wait, I guess.
So, what are the foundations of the Labyrinth anyway? Sounded like he's talking about someplace other than the bedrock or the... A glance Asterion's way. The lower levels of the hotel.
Yes. It's what we call one of the deeper areas of the valley, where the things he was referring to tend to gather. I went there once. They're all hibernating. How far is it from here? 2 or 3 days of walking for each leg of the trip. But the place itself is pretty big, and the monster's hiding place is going to be hard to reach, so I might need some more time. Maybe a little more than a week. I'm going to be thorough about it. And the monsters, what are they like? Well, they...
Leo, could we please discuss this another time?
Nikos looks up to the Minotaur. You give your darling's hand a reassuring squeeze. Of course, Asterion. Asterion starts in surprise when he notices your gaze, and that of the snake. He takes a deep breath, looking out the window, where his shoulders remain tense. Nikos nods, which becomes a low bow. I should go. I'll need to prepare for the journey ahead if I don't want to waste time tomorrow. May I please ask your crew for some help with it? There are a few things I haven't got the hang of materialising on my own. Sure, I'll tell them to help you out with whatever you deem necessary. Supplies or backup or anything you think you might need. I'll keep your room reserved for when you get back.
Indeed. Until then, we shall pray for your safe return.
Thank you, Leo, Asterion. Later, then.
He gives the two of you a final sullen bow before slinking out of the room. The peacock's well-trained right hand squeezes the wine bottle as if it was his gun. He takes another swig, then pushes the door. His money and alcohol-drunk eyes gloss over the fine guitars, basses and ukuleles displayed upon the walls. He sees the price tags. It's hard to do the math, but judging by the number of digits, both of those are far more expensive than a year's worth of rent. The numbers do not scare the peacock, however. His whole adult life he's been afraid of spending money, barely capable of stopping his own self-hate when buying anything not essential. So, today he laughs and scoffs at those price tags. He refuses to pass those high and mighty numbers. There's not a single thing in his storage to make even a dent in the money he's getting. A mere passing glance allows the shopkeeper to see this deranged evil in the eyes of Pedro, this little creature between two taller, wider men, and understand this is no common customer. Pedro scrambles up to him, the graceful coat of centipede. Jesus Christ, a good day. Do you earn commissions here? Excuse me? Do you earn commissions? Well, yes, the fucking pittance, but I do. Okay, good. You're about to make the sale of the fucking year. Oscar? Pedro speaks the most eloquent Portuguese he can manage, his beak tickling the bull's ear.
Yeah.
Listen here, you little shit. We did it. We fucking did it, you know. We found that damned hotel. You stuck with me and I stuck with you. Even as a sad sack of shit moping on the couch, you held on. Here's what's happening now. You can leave that shitty gas station job. We're getting you a drum set. You can learn how to play music. I ain't spending a single goddamn expense here. You know, look around, pick whatever the fuck you want, and then some. Then I'm buying it. Don't you dare be sure. Don't even think about it. Are we understood?
Sure. But, are you alright?
I'm most definitely not alright. I just got disowned by my father. I could really use a hug right now and talk like this so I don't start crying. And I love you so fucking much, kid.
Before Oscar's neurons can issue the command for a hug, the peacock spins to face the shopkeeper. Pedro's hands grip the counter like a vice. He squints at the name tag swimming before him.
So, Marcelo, your accent's familiar. Where are you from?
Yeah, from Peliba, João Pessoa.
Oh, great, just great. It means we're practically neighbours. So hear me out, Marcelo. Listen to me very well. This is Oscar. It's my son. Don't we look alike?
This fine professional knows better than to challenge the mentally deranged.
Sure, well, whatever you say, though. I can see you're really a young father. Exactly. I think we can all agree I made some terrible life choices. So glad we're on the same page. Today, I'm making up for it, right? So, Marcella, let's play a little game here. Pretend today's my boy's birthday. And I just have to miss all his previous ones because, God, I'm such a lousy fucking father. Like, really, I could just go on about what a piece of shit father I am. The sort of guy who disowned his kid, you know? Like, really? How fucked up do you have to be to do that? It fucking drives me to drink. Of course, we're just pretending here. It's all a silly game for fun. So, let's just say I'm buying his previous gifts in bulk today. My son wants a drum set, but I'm sure he'll want more shit than this if you show him the good stuff. So, please, show him around. Make sure he starts his musical career on the right hoof. Hoof? What? Don't you know gay people have hooves? Got a problem with that?
The wise shopkeeper chooses to practice the virtue of silence.
Don't think too hard about it. It'll give you a headache. Just focus on your commission and bleeding my goddamn wallet dry.
A chill runs down Oscar's spine. You can see that very same money-drunk madness which afflicts his Pedro begin to glint in the poor and innocent shopkeeper's eyes.
All right, Oscar. Follow me. I have a lot of stuff to show you.
The corners of Pedro's beak curl into a proud smile.
God damn, that shopkeeper looks fucking fine. So, you like chubby guys with glasses? Absolutely. You weren't so busy, you can bet you have to be chatting over right about now. Do you even speak Portuguese? There's certain things that men don't need words to communicate. Alright, I see your style. Oh, no, Peter, you don't know me just yet.
From behind, Luke plops his chin on Pedro's shoulder. Before the peacock can squirm away, the griffin's arms wrap around his torso to keep him in place.
Shh, calm down, listen.
His grip is vice tight, but his voice is gentle.
Do you understand a single goddamn word you said to that guy? I know those eyes are yours. You're just a bit fucking deranged right now. You need someone to talk to. Maybe a bit chat even. Judging by what I think you're always saying, might be some things you need to hear sooner rather than later. Call it Stockholm Syndrome. As your hostage, and get out to teach you a thing or two about financial responsibility.
"30 minutes later, with the sound of Oscar's test and experimentation of every mode and method of percussion on every instrument and object to be percussed, and still no sign of finishing, all hope is lost.
You're sure you need to test all the symbols again?
Of course I do, dude. I'm using brushes now. It's all different.
Meanwhile, Luke curls up on the couch, his mind regressing from a pre-verbal infantile state. Alas, his mother cannot help him now. His soul is destroyed, body crushed, mind burnt to cinders. Every reasonable attempt has failed. The peacock's beak hangs ajar, his eyes brim with unspeakable and unfathomable confusion.
I just don't get it.
The griffin sighs, brow furrowed, makes all his self-control knocked out at a tear-filled squawk.
It's just simple math, man. Just think of the numbers. All this investment shit should all make sense. It's impossible.
The cogs inside the peacock's whining, grief-addled skull refuse to budge. Something terrible and deadly is stuck between them. And it is contagious. With every attempt at an explanation, Luke's own understanding of how money, or even the world, works, dissolves further. Nothing feels sacred anymore. He looks at the bottle of wine in the peacock's hand, as Cota's face emblazoned upon it, smiling with beatific grace. He prays to the dragon, begs for guidance and mercy, but it will not come. Cota cannot help him now either. He realizes too late that being a hostage is not as fun or as sexy as he'd expected.
Let's go over it one more time. You're saying that with his kind of money I don't have to work again for the rest of my life? That's about it, yeah.
Pedro's face shrivels in disgust.
Doesn't make any sense.
Luke prays to God, knowing full well just how futile it is. Deep down, the griffin knows that he does not listen to prayers coming from Brazil.
Just follow me, alright? Trust me.
Luke takes a deep breath. For once in his life, he collects himself.
So, we start with 40 million US dollars. That's what you're getting, more or less. Yeah, but what are the taxes? That's a net amount. Estelle wants us handling all the paperwork for you. He also said if 40 ain't enough, he's really good at tax avoidance. Never paid a penny of tribute in his life. I won't take his word on that. Oh God, the cramps. That's beside the point. Again, stick with me. We're starting with 40 million US dollars. Let's say you can live for 18 more years. It gives you an allowance of $500,000 per year for the rest of your life. One thing you can do, and this one's better if you plan on having kids and so on, you can invest your money instead. In stocks, funds, that sort of stuff. And those things generate dividends, right? Like you give them the bank your money and they loan it out. Then, when they profit those loans, you get to take a nice little slice of the pie. That way, instead of eating for your inheritance money, you can just live off of dividends. There's a bonus. Your money will still be there by the time you die. Your kids will get plenty of themselves, too. That just doesn't make sense.
Takes a moment's concentration, the griffin, to keep his feathers from ruffling.
What doesn't make sense? How is it possible to just make up more money than I spend survived? Well, you can earn something like 10% of your investments every year, which would be out of $4 million. Now, if you end up saving just half of that, then you can live on about $2 million per year. Of course I fucking can. I can live on a fraction of that. Yeah, exactly. That's why it works. That principle, if you just budget your finances right, you'll never have to work again. So I just stop working? Yes, fucking yes! Finally, thank you, God!
In celebration, he snatches the wine bottle for a quick swig of victory.
Yeah, but I don't understand.
Luke closes his eyes as he hands the bottle back.
What exactly aren't you understanding? It all feels so wrong. If I don't have to work anymore, then why did I put in so much effort? Why did I study and work so hard? Was it all for nothing? Oh, shit.
The griffin breathes in. A rush of memories pours forth. All his plans and dreams, the ruinous expectations he struggled to abandon, all the lies people told about how life ought to be lived. He feels small again, confused child struggling to achieve his adulthood. Takes every brain cell he has to string his thoughts together.
Let me give you a straight. Life's fucked up like that. One day you're working yourself trying to make ends meet, the next you're grieving a dead relative or trying to figure out what to do with the inheritance money.
He pats Pedro's thigh.
Look, we're not planning shit and seeing it work out, right? There's no predicting what comes next. Fucking anything can happen. Best laid plans and all that. So you got this huge amount of money sitting in your lap. Wasn't part of your plans, but come on, it ain't so bad, right? You're rich.
Pedro looks at his wine bottle. Not even a third of the way in, but he's already sloshed. He breathes in. All his synapses are dedicated to stringing together an eloquent response. A dignified answer will surely be required after hearing such wisdom. He takes another swig for good luck, chokes on it and squawks.
So what the fuck do I even do now?
A few droplets of saliva splatter on Luke's beak. He feels too impotent to wipe them off.
I don't know, man. Take a nap, rest. I don't sleep. It's like a peacock thing. I don't even know what rest means. Yeah?
Now the griffin's feathers ruffle. This profound dread. The last time he felt was back during the Second World War. Should stay quiet and give up. He knows in every bone of his body. But still, fool that he is, he presses on regardless.
Now you got a hobby of some kind? Something you do for fun that you don't want to do more of?
Panoptus peers into the bottle in his trembling hand. His face remains contorted with disgust by this attack upon his entire worldview.
I have a PS4. I have a game for it. You can play your game as much as you want. But I already finished it. Well, play it again. I already played 100 times. I listened to thousands of hours of YouTube videos explaining the lore. You... Ain't there any other games you could get? Well, it's just no good, you know. I think it scratches my itch like Bloodborne. Can I find something else to do? I mean, you got a big old hunk of prime beef following you around. You tried, I don't know, having sex? Hell no. Things aren't like that between us. Then what are things like between you two?
Pedro takes another swig, far more than he meant to pour, and chokes on it.
Some kind of vague thing between friends, roommates, and I guess I think of him like some kind of... Well, he's been through some shit, he didn't have anyone support him at all. Took him under my wing and we've been living together since. Guess you could say I'm the closest he has to a father figure. By the way, if you even think of hitting on him, I'll fucking beat you to a pulp. Oh, fucking wait, Peter. He's a little too young for my tastes. And he is a sweet hunk of beef, I'll give you that. Big guy like that, thick in all the right places. So, is that your type of guy? Damn straight. I can make him chubby, even better if they wear glasses, dress shirts, that sort of stuff. Smart looking guys like that always drive me fucking nuts.
Pedro takes a gander towards pear-shaped and respectable Marcelo. His drunken gaze lowers to admire the wide rump filling up the man's pants, complete with strong thighs to support his weight. When he notices that Luke has been doing the same, he shakes himself out of it.
I can see the appeal. A guy so big you can't even hug him all the way, right? Yeah, exactly, yeah. Makes killing him so fucking good. All I have to grab onto. Come on, you get what I'm saying, don't ya?
Within the warm haze of his drunkenness, Pedro thinks of soft pecks against his cheek, of eye-catching and comfy roundness, the pleasure of squeezing a man like a stress ball, of how cutely his belly jiggles when he... Luke bumps his shoulder against Pedro's.
I see you're all ruffled up. Well, who can deny how comfortable a hefty man can be? There's a big teddy bear, shoulder to lean on, stress ball to squeeze on, or pound into. How when you lay yourself down, feel that warmth and weight on top of ya? God, you're so right. Last time I got a fat cat to lay on me to keep me warm during the night, I could have just fucking laid down forever and died right there. The squeeze on his love handles was a stress reliever. Fuck, maybe I should call him up again. Shit, I'm jealous. It's been years since I got an opportunity like that. Really? I'm afraid I'd find that hard to believe. Not to be rude, but your reputation does precede you. Yeah, it's because plenty of guys will come around beat this me and I see many will smash me against their gut. Yeah, sucks to hear, buddy.
Pedro takes a swig and offers a bottle to Luke.
Guess to find ourselves each a wide load to cuddle. Next time we both found ourselves a mission.
The Griffin takes a swig and offers the bottle back to the hiccup in Pedro.
Well, maybe a side mission myself. Maybe I just want to make sure I can take care of Oscar. Make sure he, stays alright. That's real sweet of you, Peter. Hey, not enough to keep you busy for now. What do you mean? Now you got all the money you ever need. Can't you be happy to spend time with your friend, roommate, son guy? Hey, you just said you're helping out because life was hard on him. The sort of money you get, you can make absolutely sure he'll have what he needs to start fresh. You don't have to work any shitty jobs or carry shitload of debt if you're willing to pay his bills. Or why wouldn't you? You've got so much money, you won't even be a fucking debt in your finances. You get him a fuck ton of instruments, you get him music even. Just keep doing shit like that. Told you about my nephews and nieces, right? Well, personally, ain't nothing that makes me happier than making them happy.
Hey, Pedro, did you all hear that orchestra sing? God damn!
Does that mean you liked it?
Oh, well, sure, but I don't need her.
Marcelo, you know what to do.
A shy move of appreciation sounds in the distance.
See? Life's all about making our loved ones happy, ain't it? Or is that not enough for you?
Pedro stares into the bottle.
I mean, can you really make someone else your whole world? That can't be healthy. Maybe not the only thing, sure. It's the best start there is. You can figure the rest out as you go. Let me be honest with you for a sec. You strike me as a smart-looking professional type guy with that dress shirt. You even speak a second language and all that. You're the sort of guy who won't be surprised seeing at NASA or something. Surely a guy like you could do some fancy doctor shit at university, can't you? Maybe start a business.
Pedro stares deeper. Through the glass he sees his face warp within the sloshing liquid.
I did try setting my own business some years ago. Still a non-profit thing. We got our funding pulled from under us, and after that everything just fell apart. I could get the gang back together, maybe. I didn't end things badly. Everyone was still interested in doing it if we ever got the opportunity again. Like some kind of charity, eh? Yeah, I should have figured. You look like that sort of guy. I do. No doubt about it, Peter. Charity and goodwill's written all over your face.
Thanks. Hey, mind if I ask you a question?
Shoot.
Why are you calling me Peter? You do know my name's Pedro, right?
I didn't notice.
He turns to look at Luke, so fast that it dizzies him. He must concentrate for a moment and not throw up. Yes, you've been calling me this whole time. Well, you just had it mixed up since Peter and Pedro are just the same name in different languages. But that thing you said. You think I look like a non-profit kind of guy? Well, maybe I do look like someone who likes suffering. Look at my face, shows it well enough. But no one would ever say I look the charitable type. Yeah, you just said earlier I struck you as a smart professional sort of guy because of my dress shirt. Do I happen to remind you of someone?
Sorry, Pedro. I reckon it's just my head got messed up for a bit.
The Griffin nods in a vague direction the bottle in Pedro's hand.
I could hold my liquor all that well.
As he tries to force out a laugh, he looks away. Now his feathers ruffle. There's a worry lurking deep in his eyes. Pedro sets a hand atop the Griffin's shoulder. It's all right. I get it. I'm mostly having a hard time calling you Luke. It'd make things easy if you don't mind. You can call me Peter as long as let me call you Lucas. It's just easier for me too, you know. One of my co-workers from that business I told you about is called Lucas, so it just rolls off the tongue easier for me. I liked him a lot. And you've been so nice to me today, even though I've just been acting like a wreck and a dumbass. Yes, I suppose I owe you one regardless of babysitting me today. Yeah, the one who looks charitable and good and stuff. Luke clacks his beak, only to keep the soft little chuckle which is tickling his throat trapped behind it.
Thanks. I mean it. Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, it's all good, Lucas. Luke slings an arm around Pedro's shoulder, squeezing. Pedro doesn't squirm away this time. When the Griffin lets go, the pair sit in comfortable silence, listening to the tapping and banging of Oscar's instrument tests. Pedro offers the wine bottle again, but Luke smiles and refuses. He eyes the bottle himself, but sets it aside. Luke bumps the peacock's shoulder with his own, then points towards the approaching Minotaur.
I really don't need this, Pedro. But check it out. Never noticed how those thingies worked. Marcelo said it's called a membranophone and there's a stick in it and...
For the peacock, all words fade. The room spins. He wrenches the creaker from Oscar's hands and overturns it. Then he vomits into it. Marcelo writes that down. The snake's mind drifts back and forth like the slithering length of his tail. He thinks of duty and purpose, of regret and recompense, of the hotel and his home. He thinks of humanity's warm, soothing flame compared to the searing light of divinity. He thinks of Princess Sterion, of Master Leo, of his parents and his dearly departed Papuli. He thinks so much, wandering the corridors of his mind, that by the time he returns to himself he's completely lost. A shake of his head, palm gliding across the scales of his scalp. Even the twisting trails and crevices of the valley were not as confusing as the hotel's labyrinthine corridors. However, he has learned the trick to navigating his way around, courtesy of both the Argoy's wisdom and Leo's guidance. Without the panic of pursuit clouding his mind, it's as simple as breathing to picture the reception and the doorway into the lounge. So he sets off, his destination a few more turns of a corner away. And there he is. There is the lounge. One final hiss of trepidation slips out as he crosses the threshold. The snake's entrance is much less dramatic than that scene from the night before, With less pallid scales and more honest expression upon his face, he takes a look around for the one he's been seeking. He finds within a cosy and liminal peace. A few stragglers are still picking at the last of the late lunches, in no hurry at all to finish. Intruder no longer, Nikos slithers over to the bar counter, where the proprietor is notably absent. A quiet hiss to himself. His preparations not yet even begun. Already he faces his first setback. Nikos looks around in vain hope that the dragon will somehow materialise behind the counter, perhaps step out from the kitchen door. Fortune, however, refuses to smile upon him. He glances at the clock upon the wall, and laments the time will be lost continuing his search. On the other hand, perhaps this is a blessing in disguise. Between roughing it out in the valley, running around at Lord Hermes' whims, and everything else that's happened over the past few days, he's had precious little time to just relax. Maybe he can even afford to be a bit lazy. A rare and precious luxury indeed. With a keen and curious gaze, he takes in the available seating. The bar stools prove to be just a little problematic with his tail, but he manages at last to settle himself upon one of them. Then from his high and mighty perch, Nikos takes in his surroundings. The bright, high-class atmosphere. The paintings on the cream-coloured walls. The dark, smooth wood of the bar counter. He'd seen restaurants like this before, from a distance. When he left home to pursue higher education in Heraklion, he became very familiar with the archaeological museum and its surrounding area. Downtown there's a plethora of high-class establishments which cater to tourists, almost always family-owned and operated. However, Nikos had ever set foot, so to speak, inside. The closest he'd ever come to doing so was when he'd stopped one time to glance over the prices on the menu displayed at the entrance. Ever since, he would try not to look at all. The sight alone would twist his stomach into knots, even as he'd dream of one day taking his parents there. Mama and Mampas would probably really like this place, he thinks to himself, indulging in that little bit of sentimentality. A sigh. He lowers his gaze as thoughts take hold once more. The weight of his duty as Leo's Argos Panoptis. The coming journey into the valley's innermost depths. Lord Hermes, Argifontes and the crafty god's plans for him. For Asterion, the hotel. For all of the loyal devotees back in. A large hand, leathery and covered on the back in coarse brown fur, waves in front of his unfocused eyes. Hey, are you okay? Jerking upright of his reverie almost sends him tumbling off the stool. His tail tightens around him and he straightens himself out. Yes, I'm okay. Just lost in thought. Well, I'm sorry for interrupting. Nikos, right? Well, that's right. Did Leo tell you about me? Oh, he said he'd be staying here for a while. Yeah, why? No reason. The serpent lets out a tiny held breath. The knot of tension between his shoulder blades starts to relax. I'm not in the way, am I? You're good. Just saw you hunched over the bar with a face like you've got no friend but your own shadow. Wanted to check on you. But the lounge is open to guests all day, so feel free to have a seat anywhere and relax for as long as you'd like. Oh, good to know, thank you. I think I will. All right. And if you'll excuse me, I've got to get back into the kitchen. Dinner's not going to make itself, right? Well, if you need anything, feel free to ask. With a nod of gratitude, Nikos opens his mouth to thank his gracious host. The words catch in his throat, however, as yet another thought occurs. Are you the chef around here? Kenbish's chest swells with pride as he gives the snake a nod of his own. Oh, that's right. Why? He isn't exactly the one Nikos has been looking for, but perhaps... Well, actually, could use your help with something. It's some kind of a long story. You do know about outside the hotel, right? In the end, it isn't much of a long story at all. Even as the snake stumbles and bumbles his way through an explanation, it always took focus room to improv well. The boar understands almost immediately. Nikos says a silent prayer of gratitude for Leo's interest in delving into the secrets of the valley and his assiduous attempts at putting together expeditions for that purpose. Problematic as they may have been at times for Argos. In any case, as soon as Kenvis shows her the planned journey to the valley's depths, he gives Nikos a knowing nod and begins asking about provisions. Before the snake can even answer. Well, actually, you know what? Why don't you come to the back and actually look at what we have and see what you need? Really? Of course. Don't feel like you might take too much, because we can always get more. Well, Thank you, Kenvis. I appreciate it. With a wave of a hand, Nikos is invited to slither behind the counter, after carefully dropping from his perch. The pair head into the kitchen, and walk right into the middle of pandemonium. Squeaky cries and ear-piercing screeches fill the room, along with a cacophony of clattering and whirring. One of the counters a bowl full of batter rocks perilously close to the edge, with the motion of a runaway electric mixer. Two little lizards scrabble over a pair of overturned chairs nearby, reaching fruitlessly to put a stop to the disaster with speckled and spattered arms and hands. The third is perched on the counter near the stove, still as a stone, the placid eye of the hurricane. His focused gaze, peering from beneath a brow furrowed in concentration, is locked onto the large pot boiling over on the burner. Kenvis takes in the chaos before him, then takes in a deep breath. Groggy, stir it! Before even registering a response, the boy's already rushing over to get hold of a mutinous mixer. What did I tell you about just setting this thing on high out of nowhere? Not to? And what did you do? That. Kenvis nods. Look, I'm not mad, it's just a bit of a mess. Just remember to be more careful of the appliances next time. He pats their batter-splotched heads. More importantly, you could have gotten hurt. Try to be careful for your own sakes, alright? Once the pair chirp in acknowledgement, he turns to address Gruggy once more. And, just so you know, watching a pot also involves dealing with what's in it. Gruggy considers this nugget of wisdom as he stirs. Nikos can only watch, twiddling his thumbs as the food preparation is set back on track. Shoot, sorry about that. These little guys are a real help around you, even if sometimes, oh well... Oh, it's fine. Anyway, provisions. The cold room's right through there. We've also got the pantry over there. If you want, go ahead. Who's that? Three pairs of yellow eyes pierce the snake with their curious gazes. Oh, right. This is Nikos, and... Why is he wearing that? Is he cold? Well, Is he a poisonous snake? Snakes aren't poisonous, dummy. Don't call me dummy, far breath. Don't call me far breath, you... Hey, that's enough of that. This is Nikos. He's going to be helping Leo and Asterion for a while. He's going out to the valley and just like that, all hope of getting the kobolds back on task is lost. Their eyes light up as they scramble towards Nikos, a million questions tumbling over one another in their piping voices. Questions about the snake. How did he come to the hotel? What's it like not having legs? What is up with the weird spots on his scales? Questions about his journey to the valley. How long will he be gone? What will he be doing there? Is he going to bring anything back? Questions which Nikos can neither keep track of nor think of an answer to. He stammers out a few half-syllables of one kobold, then the next and the next. Though he's straining for someone to be the centre of attention, keep his focus upon the stage, the little lizard's three-way assault is overwhelming. At last he looks to the boar for assistance. Kenvis succeeded in directing the kobolds once. Surely he can do so again. Guys, come on, you're not usually like this around guests. Guys. Alas, even Kenvis's cajoling is not enough. No matter how he tries to prod little lizards back to their tasks, his words fall on deaf ears. The snake is new and strange, and therefore interesting. Nothing, not even the boar's blend of professionalism and brotherly guidance, can catch their attention. He looks from Nikos to the kobolds, the mess still splattered on the counters and stove. His brow furrows. The spark of an idea glimmers in his eyes. Hey, guys, listen. You mind doing me a really big favour? Our friend here's going out on a magical adventure down the valley, where he'll face many dangerous monsters. He needs our help. Our help? Kenvis pats him on the shoulder. That's right. Can you three help him gather up some food and supplies for the trip? Think like an adventurer and give him the best we have to offer. I know you guys can do it. Their eyes shine, their mouths hang open. Memories of every epic and fantastical bedtime story they've heard burst out from their tiny brains, bringing with them 1,000 ideas. Just like in the fairy tales. Gifts of the adventurer. So he won't die. In the blink of an eye they've gone, leaving only behind the fading pitter-patter of their feet. Kenvish leans on the countertop, scanning the messy little helpers left behind before turning to Nikos. Don't be shy. You can raid the pantry and take whatever you want. And like I said, don't worry about taking too much. In the meantime, I'll just... The overflow broth stains the stove and sizzles on the burner. The splatters of batter litter the whole counter and floor. There are even a few specks on the ceiling. Clean up this mess. Oh, thanks, Kenvish. I don't know if I need help or anything. A seasoned survivalist by now, Nikos knows well what to look for. A selection of dry, calorically dense non-perishables. Calculates how much he'll need for his journey and, after a few minutes of rummaging and bustling, gathers up the lightest, most compact selection possible. Its weight is well within his tolerance, easy to carry without overexerting himself, while still allowing for all the nutritional need over the coming week. There's even some leftover space in his pack. Enough space for a few snacks, perhaps. He takes a look at the available selection again, agonising over what few luxuries he can take with him. Crackers, cookies, maybe some fruit gummies. Choice paralysis begins to set in. In the end, and with a half-ashamed hiss, he makes a blind grab for whatever is in arm's reach and stuffs it in without looking. The fates will decide for him. He can only hope they'll be kind. Okay, I think I found everything I need. Thanks again for... Mr. Nikos, gifts! Lots and lots.
Oh, don't worry, I'll handle them.
He moves to intercept the enthusiastic little lizards before they can overwhelm the hapless snake once more.
Well, hey, it looks like you guys did find a lot. Awesome. So, what do you got for our buddy Nikos here? No?
Important things. Can't live without him. He'll die. No illustrates the point of the very helpful pantomime. Nikos gulps. First tubes. They're good for the soul and you won't feel alone with them. And Luke's special tin can. He raises the can of the Griffin's trademark beer high above his head, as though it were a holy relic. Yes, that beer.
I mean, technically it could be called that, yeah.
Oh, wow, I don't... Nona's wide-eyed earnestness stills the serpent's tongue.
Oh, no. What else have you got?
I also got some broccoli. It's healthy as you can eat if you get hurt. Oh, and a Saren's grape juice.
Alright, how about you, Zabito?
Secret recipe from Mama. He overturns the pouch and is grasping to his other hand, revealing what for all the world looks like a few lumps of coal. Nikos watches, one or two of them crack in half. That's how you know it's fresh. Nice and munchy crunchy.
Those aren't made with rocks, are they? You know only kobolds can eat those.
No rocks. It's made for friendly surface dwellers. Sometimes the mines collapse, right? When it happens, the miners get stuck, right? The weak ones die, their buddies eat them and their shoes. Then they go crazy and die too. Get the mine all stinky and gross. But not with this secret recipe. The miners can eat and survive just fine, no eating each other or their shoes. They're nutritious and delicious.
Nikos cannot hide the concern in his eyes.
What are they made of? Secret. A pepper a day keeps the miners okay.
Just take it. And what's that you got there, Gruggy?
Dino cookies.
Little fell off the box of dinosaur-shaped crackers of the snake.
Crackers, and they're half gone. Nah, still they're dino cookies, not dino crackers. I made them myself, and I reused the box because recycling's good. They're made of real dinosaur bones, lots and lots of calcium. Don't worry, I sift all the rocks out myself. Oh, and also pyrite. For good luck, not for eating. It'll give you a tummy ache.
Wow, look at you. You'll be another little chef in no time.
A toothy grin from the chubby kobolds he wriggles in delight. And then... Oh, and one more thing. He pulls a pink stone from the pouch at his waist. Screaming rock. In a move to swift the eyes, he lifts the unassuming pebble high before throwing it down on the kitchen floor. Cobalt speciality, and mixed. Says a big bad monster approaching. Well, it's mean and scary and wants to eat you. You can throw a rocket in and that'll scare it away. Or if it clamps its jaws on you and you can't get away, you can shove some screaming rocks in its ear holes. The monster will go deaf. Down in the mines where there's no light, it can't see or hear, so it can't hunt. Then when it gets weak and full of parasites, you can eat it. That's what it gets for not having any screaming rocks. You should cook it to kill parasites before eating, though. That's actually really good. I could use a distraction against a creature of the valley in case something goes wrong. It's a treasure cobalt recipe. Now it's yours so you won't die. Alright. Thank you, guys.
Well, I'm proud of you all for helping out. Did you have fun?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, you think you're ready to go back to your duties?
At the boy's words, little lizards jump to attention with chirps of assent.
It's getting close to dinner time, so why don't you go and make sure all the tables are set and put the menus out?
Can you do that for me, please?
They salute, smart and sharp as a trio of trained soldiers, then skitter away with yet more chirping and screeching.
Is it okay to leave them to their own devices like that?
Yeah, if they've got anything down pat, it's doing some basic front-of-house chores. I mean, usually. You'd be surprised, but when these little guys get into the groove, they can really get work done. As for me, I've got plenty to keep me busy getting things ready for dinner, too.
Is there anything else you need, or...? Nikos hefts his armful of knickknacks and morsels in response. I think I'm good, thanks. Really, thank you again for all this.
Sure, any time.
I guess I'll leave you to it then.
Well, I mean, if you're not in a hurry, you're welcome to stick around a while longer. Most of the time it's pretty peaceful and quiet around here. Plenty of time to take it easy. You'll be the first to come grab a bite and chat while I'm working.
The boar's tail flicks, his ears perk up.
Actually, I can even whip up something as a snack for you really quick if you like. Give you a proper welcome to the hotel and all. I mean, I assume you won't get any hot meals down in the valley.
The snake cracks a grin. Easily and readily, he dons the mask again.
Maybe more often than you think.
I have my ways. And I don't want to get in your way. Didn't you say you got a lot to do?
The boar snorts, then guffaws. Nonsense. The John Cook and he's in doing it for others, and you're right here. Plus, I was able to get all the prep work done while you're looking for your supplies, so it wouldn't be any trouble at all, really.
If you're sure, then I guess I'll take you up on that. Do you have any way I can set this stuff down? As Nikos organises the kobold's gifts, finding ways to tuck them into his pack along with his other supplies, his gracious host putters around the kitchen. Stirring pots, checking pans, making sure all is in order. By the time he's done, the snake is well assured to have everything he needs for his return to the valley. He also has in mind the perfect snack to ask for. To us them are nostalgic in equal measure, a meal by itself when in the right mood, a taste of home in its God's forsaken and humanity reclaimed realm. If it's not too much trouble, you should have saganaki. A simple dish, pan-fried Graviera cheese, with a generous drizzling of honey, of course. It takes the boar little time at all to gather up the ingredients, heat the pan and begin.
If you like, I could even flambe it for you.
That won't be necessary, thanks.
Oh.
Soon enough the sound of sizzling fills the air, along with the rich scent of frying cheese. A single whiff is enough to lift the serpent's spirits as seldom reached heights. Cheese to meet you.
Oh, what?
Oh, sorry. I haven't really talked to many people for a while, so I guess I just, kind of...
I mean, I get it, I've just never heard anyone quote a meme out loud before.
Sorry to leave you, discheesed.
Hey, you might ask a question. You look young, but I've never met a snake before, so I'd rather not assume.
Nikos pokes up for the boar's words. The sheepish chuckle leaks out around the flickering of his tongue. It's all right, I don't mind answering them. Yeah, I'm 20. Why?
Ah, cool. It's nice meeting other mythicals around my age. I don't get the chance very often. I'm from Mongolia and I live with my family out on the steppes.
Pretty far from most towns, much as any place where many mythicals might hang out. It's the only ones I really know, my parents and siblings. Is it the same for you? Not quite. I'm from a small village in Greece myself. It's a little out of the way, but most people in the area are snakes like me. So I had quite a few of my friends my own kind when I was growing up. We'd hang out pretty much all the time. Not much else to do when you live in a tiny village like ours. Though it's been a while since I really talked with any of them. Anyway, I never really got a chance to meet other kinds of mythicals before now, so we're so isolated. Oh, it's my parents too, of course. No siblings, but yeah. A tiny smile flitters across the serpent's face. Kenbush glances over just in time to catch a glimpse of it. Do you miss them? I do. Guess I didn't really think about it all this before coming here. I had no idea what it'd be like living out in the valley all alone. After the Wi-Fi got set up, I did manage to text and have some calls with them. But still... Oh, that reminds me. My parents kind of still don't even know the full story about me being here. Kenrich suddenly finds the task of flipping the cheese over to ensure it doesn't burn immensely captivating. Is something wrong? Nothing's wrong, really. Just, it's a bit complicated to explain like our own jobs as a chef in a magical hotel, you know? Even if I do really like it here, they pay me really well. Yeah, I know how that feels. There's a lot of stuff I can't explain to my parents either. I don't even know where to start. Well, do you get along with them all right? The answer's yes, and the rest should follow. I do, yeah. I love both of them. They love me back. Mama can be a bit overprotective. She's getting better with that. Really making an effort. Well, all he needs a bit of time. I'm sure you'll figure out how to tell them. All right, back at you. Yeah. Good to hear things are good with you and them, even if they are a bit complicated. A lot of people here have issues back home, which is often why they found their way to the hotel in the first place. Many don't have a place to go back to, or the people who made it home aren't around anymore. Or maybe they just can't stay home anymore, even if they are welcome. That's how it was for me. I needed money to help my family. Guess I'm pretty lucky in that regard, though. Even though I had to go out, everything's easier when you know for sure your loved ones will have your back if something goes wrong. Nikos looks away. His tongue flicks out once, twice as his coils shift. His gaze glosses over the entrance to the cold room. A metal door he's never seen before in his life, but he knows enough about to dig his fingernails into the palm of his hands. The door back out to the lounge is closed, and the pantry is a dead end. The feeling of being horribly out of place crashes down upon him. I do have a home to return to. Got a whole life waiting for me outside. Got my acting degree to go back to as well. Honestly, if I hadn't been royalty of my roles Argos, I don't think I'd ever come to this place at all. That's good. Yeah. I guess Mum will be pretty happy knowing we stay out in the valley for too much longer. Yeah, that place is wild. That's how you've even been surviving out there. Oh, with Argo, I have a bunch of tricks passed down from generation to generation. If you know what you're doing and can remain unseen, surviving out there isn't too difficult. There's also main shelter and some hideouts here and there, so we do get a roof over our head at least, and places to stay safe from whatever might be lurking around. Pretty cold at night and hot during the day, but we make do. This trip's going to take me to one of the more dangerous areas deeper in where all the really nasty things hide. Lucky me, huh?
You going to be alright?
I think so. I don't have to remain in character anymore. I can repair myself better. Could take some distress flares and some more medical supplies. Maybe even a gun. If I knew how to shoot or where to find one.
Do you know Luke, the Griffin guy? Hangs around the lounge a lot and loves giving my boss shit. He can look a bit intimidating. He's more than a bit of a hornball. But he loves helping out in whatever ways he can. Pretty sure I know how to get a gun. I'm very sure I'll be up for teaching you how to shoot.
Maybe. Don't even know how enough time to learn before I head out, though. I'm not good at it after all. I'm more likely to injure myself with it than anything that might attack me. And I guess it doesn't really matter anyway.
A deep shuddering breath in.
It should be over soon. Then I'll be free. He repeats that prayer a few more times within his mind.
And what are your plans for afterwards? Are you going to stay here for a while? Hotel Gloves use an extra pair of hands. I'm sure Leon Asteron could get a job lined up for you. Or you could just keep, hanging out.
If you don't take on a job, life's pretty good here. And people like us have a lot of perks you won't find out there. Where else can you live and work without having to carry a charm? If you make friends, you'll know the real you. Can't get that too easily outside of your mythical. No more panicking you might have forgotten it back home or having to carry emergency charms in case your main one malfunctions. No more being forgotten by your co-workers. The boy lets out a huff, half relief, half reluctant nostalgia. I'm having to wear the same charmed jockstrap every day. Wait, what? Oh, what? Did you just mention a charm? No, I didn't. So, you think you want to stay? Everyone's great and I'm sure you'll be welcome. I don't know. I have to go back to school and... I don't know. Silence falls. The saganaki has been plated. All that remains is the drizzling of the honey. Kenvish turns his back to Nikos as he completes his work. Then, with a too bright smile on his face, he turns again and makes his offering to the snake. And done. Hope we like it. And if you ever need something else cooked up to help kill the homesickness, then don't be afraid to ask, alright? Oh, thank you. The scent alone relaxes his shoulders. The warmth, the tang, the salt of the sheep cheese are the first taste of home his Cretan boys had in months. The golden brown crust crackles apart to reveal the pillowy softness beneath. He brings his forkful to his mouth. His tongue already anticipates the flavour. He chews, slow, thoughtful, and appreciative of every moment. He swallows. Are you crying? The snake scrubs the sudden wetness out of his eyes. He takes a deep, shuddering breath and shakes his head. No, I was just... It's really good. Thank you. As his gracious host nods and then returns to his work, Nikos takes another mouthful of cheese and honey. Then another and another, barely pausing between bites. Kenny, chores are all done. Alright, awesome. Thanks, guys. I think things are coming pretty well in here, so if you'd all like to wash up, I can... What's that? Nikos can feel little lizard's gazes turn upon him once more. It's a saganaki. Smells kind of weird. Is it good? Yes, it's very good. Nice and soft and gooey, a little salt and sweet to the honey. The cheese doesn't really taste all... Can we try some? The snake's tongue stumbles over itself. Of their own accord, his fingers grip the plate before him with possessive intent. Well... Nikos' eyes dart from his half-eaten treat, still hot and greasy at the trio of kobolds. Their eyes bore into him, wide and bright, and filling quickly that blithe, opportunistic avarice common to scavenging beasts. Fortunately, Kenvish is present to break the standoff. You know, guys, you're a really big help today. We were? Yep, such a big help. I think you guys have earned yourselves a little treat. We have? Of course. The pan's really hot, so I can get some saganaki made up for you, too. And if you say you're really good and really patient, I'll make sure this next batch has extra honey. This land can provide for all if reigned with love. There's no need to fight, children. And look, how rapidly the cook works on his second serving. His hands are indeed faster, but time flows quicker too for the snake. Before he knows it, the kitchen's filled with the sounds of munching, murmuring, clanking cutlery. Zepito is a kitten, licking the honey off his cheese over an oversized steak. Nono's a puppy, shoving whole forkfuls into his maw and then swallowing them after a dozen messy, haphazard chomps. And Gruggy's a ponderous cow, chewing each and every piece into a well-mixed mush within his mouth. Even Kenvish joins in, savouring an extra slice he slipped in when no one's looking. His gaze is fixed upon the ceiling, focused, perhaps, on taking notes on how to improve this dish next time he attempts it. Pulls out his phone, a brand new one still shining, and begins typing, recording his thoughts, maybe sending a message to a loved one somewhere. Regardless, each touch of his fingers on the screen is accompanied by a characteristic tapping sound. Altogether, they make the not-so-silent sounds of tranquil life. Snake's back, vertebra by vertebra, loosens each and every woeful knot. Gone are the buzzing of blood-sucking insects and distant shrieks of aimless beasts searching for a purpose that will not come. When he speaks, it's answered with well-picked words, not with the violence of some wild animal or other. When a fork falls, it's not a prelude to someone, some cursed inhuman thing, lunging for his throat.
He lets go of the anticipation, the dread, the knife's edge acuity. The first time in months, Nikos allows himself to breathe easy. All is coming to an end. Soon he'll be able to see his dear mammas and Mampas again. Soon those lonely days in the valley will be never fade in memory. And soon he'll be able to do with his life as he pleases. It may even be possible for this home to take him in as well, he who is not lost. It's a place to return to outside, of course, a mother and father keeping their hearth lit for him, friends eager to hear his tales, a bright and long-anticipated future. And yet, why does it hurt so much? Perhaps something was lost during his journey, but if so, then what? Perhaps a part of himself died alongside Argos. To be the last of one's kind is a heavy burden indeed. Perhaps he could use what this home for the lost provides. Peaceful days with plenty of time to heal. The sun has just begun to dip below the horizon when the wolf snaps awake, roused by the familiar clopping of the Minotaur's hoofbeats. Animals kept in captivity often have trouble adapting to changes in their keepers' routines. The griffin's absence strikes the wolf as an ill omen, in spite of his growing tolerance to the bipedal bull. Even so, he relishes the opportunity to take his evening meal and stretch his legs before nightfall. He rises to his feet, then lopes after the ungulate without complaint. The density of humans only increases as the pair approaches the shelter's feeding grounds. A few begin to gawk once the wolf enters their line of sight. The usual gormless indolence soon overtakes their initial sense of alarm. Before long, the Minotaur breaks off to attend his herd, supervising the trio of little lizards rushing around in service to the human cattle. Industrious as honeybees, they chatter and chirp while going about their duties, though their motive in doing so, like the wolf's dinner, remains to be seen. The bull allows his attention to linger on one human in particular, leaving the lesser beasts to fend for themselves for a moment while the pair interact. One of the scaled servants hauls water in a pitcher between the tables, another holds a twig and slab of wood fibre. The third rushes hither and thither to distribute food to the assembled crowd. An unctuous odour begins to perfume the air as meat jelly is heated back into the form of liquid soup. The scent of batter wafts from a few conspicuous spots of discoloration on the little lizard's false skins. The wolf feels tempted to snatch a portion for himself, until his keen ears detect an approaching vehicle screeching to a stop, accompanied by a squawk too discordant to belong to his benefactor. Favouring the devil he knows, he stalks away from the source of sound into the quietest part of the room he can find, taking shelter near the volcano with legs.
The strangest thing happened last night, Mother.
The demon speaks into his phone while leaning back in his chair, whiskey in hand.
I remember the delivery man whom I gave a ride some time ago. It seemed he was a god all along. Assuming what I've been told is correct, it was none other than Hermes, the Argos slayer. Only fitting he'd be disguised as a delivery man, I suppose. Bit on the nose looking back, but hindsight is 20/20. Still, isn't it incredible? A Greek god among us in this day and age. I suppose you're right. Maybe I shouldn't be so surprised. Perhaps he even has a stake in this matter. Still, things got bad, Mother. He went into some kind of fugue state and almost killed two of the guests.
Robert's gaze wanders over the Minotaur and his friend enjoying some wine in a booth.
But the owner, the human one, intervened. It seemed he saw through the charade. Yes, quite unusual. Makes me think. How rare it really is in the stories for mortals to see through a deity's disguise. Even in this regard, it is an exceptional situation. Thankfully, no one got hurt. A curt, deep guffaw. You would like the owner. He's your type, no doubt about it. As sharp as your sense of justice. If I ever have the chance, I'd like to introduce you to him. My friend? Oh, yes. It would be something fit for his book, certainly. Yes, I've been meaning to send him another letter for a while now. Right you are. It is always better sooner rather than later. Thank you for the encouragement, Mother. Perhaps you're right, I should put contacting loved ones into my work planner too. That would make it easier to do so.
Despite needing to be partially carried into the building, Pedro beams with a smug satisfaction as he's dragged into the lounge. He clutches an empty wine bottle against his chest. The orbit slams it down the bar top as he and his retinue pass by. I can't fucking believe you sprung for more drums than you've been playing goddamn timpanis. Are you trying to clear every red cell of what anchors advance here or something? Not to make any sunshine on you, kid, you don't seem the symphony drumming type. I mean, like, I can learn. I can look stuff up too. We looked up on the way back and found a jazz album with them, see? He holds up his phone for the Griffin's inspection. Look, Peter, are you going to make him purchase this all the time once you get the rest of your money? Do you need me to have an all sober talk about this shit? I think it's too much for my boy here. But I promised him. Besides, I'm shoving a bigger arsehole that could give him a leg up. Oh, shucks. I've got to buy some custom earplugs to make sure it's all okay. Oh, you're doing good. I'm more than okay. Behind the counter, the kitchen door opens. Nikos slithers out, accompanied by Kenbish and carrying his overladen pack of supplies. Need some help there, Nikos? I got it. Thanks, though. Alright, as long as you're sure. You need anything else during the week, we can get an expedition put together to resupply you. If I need it, I'll be sure to text you. Maybe you can send me out some more Sagnaki? I'll see what I can do. Nikos turns to give his new friend a smile. Listen, I know I said it before. I just want to say thanks for helping me through that. Pedro turns to clap his keeper-cum-hostage on the back. Listen, I may be a drunk asshole. Just want to say thanks for helping me through that. And their minds are overtaken by blinding fog. Everything in this hateful pair clenches. All draw a breath and notice a sickening scent of withering roses, though a funerary procession had walked in unnoticed. Attentive as ever to sudden shift in atmosphere, the old wolf's hackles rise once the strange scent lodges itself in his olfactory bulb. It fills him with a roiling, visceral disgust. His lips curl to show his teeth, and his tail stiffens in kind. Beyond making his own threat display, he does not move from his hiding place. This battle is not his to fight. What a bloody fight it will be. The old wolf knows in a battle like this, it's not enough that one should triumph. The other must die by any means necessary. Curses, like consequences, a way of catching up to us when we least expect them. Kenbish may lack a thorough education in matters of the occult, but he recognises his gut feelings well. He grabs the snake's hand, gathering the strength to drag his erstwhile companion back into the kitchen. Something deep within this cursed soul is screaming these two must not come into contact with one another. There's but one crucial flaw. He's already midway through his step when he reaches for the false panopters and thus lacks the required leverage. All he accomplishes is a single weak tug for its grasped lips. The snake is jerked over to one side, yet loses only a fraction of a second as a reaction. A high-pitched sound accompanies the stench of rotting flowers, digging like a thorn into the minds of all mythicals in the room, growing more and more intense until the wine bottle, sitting instantly on the bar's counter between the panopters and the impostors, shatters. Glass shards are scattered every which way. The largest fragment, the mouth, is launched upwards. All eyes see it spin in the air, steady edges shining like diamonds. Then the two wretches lunge. The peacock's hand is sure as his rage is blind. He snatches the impromptu dagger out of the air, and aims a wide swinging stab at the snake's throat. This fight will not end so quickly or easily. The goring weapon is intercepted, barely held back by a fury-tempered grip. With his other hand, the snake jabs at his opponent's ribs, hoping to incapacitate with a maiming blow. The peacock grabs his wrist, twists, squeezes hard enough to leave purple marks on the scales. They push and pull, groan and hiss. Every muscle on the snake's tail tenses to push him forward, while the peacock's shoes squawk against the ties he strains to keep his stance. Unstoppable force, the immovable object vies the other's destruction. All Kenbish wanted was to protect his new friend. The most innocent of desires, twisted into this gruesome tragedy now playing out before him. Could he have averted if his grip more sure, had his hand reached quicker, or was it written in the very blood which must soon be spilled? Everyone in the lounge watches. This cheerful innocence of this night is fractured when anyone can realise what is happening. Or easily the illusion of normalcy is broken, an ancient shadow darkens the day. However, there are two faithless souls in this room who are unbound by these chains of recursion. Before the scent of rotting flowers had a chance to take hold, Robert's third eye had caught sight of the wretched two approaching. He'd seen the blinding flash of ruinous fire sparked by their proximity. Before the bottle shattered, he was already moving to intercept. And you, good lord, sit in your booth with your back to the wall and Asterion by your side. With your smallest soul, your weaker body, and your blindness to the hidden affairs of this world. You are so pathetically human. But you have mind and foresight. It is that which grants you a second more than most, for the first blow had been struck, you are already moving to intervene. With as much ease as strength, Robert breaks the stalemate by pushing in between the fighting pair, making his own grab the peacock's weapon as he does so. He pins Panoptes to the bar with his bulk and pries the bottleneck out of the shock-slackened fingers. The snake falls back and almost directly into your arms. Though his tail almost trips you in his struggle, you keep a tight hold of him. Neither Panoptes nor impostor attempts violence towards you or Robert. They only struggle towards one another, even as they are dragged to opposite sides of the bar. Disaster has been averted. For now. That handful of seconds was heavy as eternity. But with Nikos and Pedro safe from each other themselves, time rushes forward with a vengeance. Pure horrors replaced the blank rages once on both their faces. They sit at either end of a long table, shivering and avoiding one another's gaze along with everyone else's. Their erstwhile companions, meanwhile, tend to the small cuts in either one's hands, while holding on to them to prevent any further action. Most present cannot begin to comprehend what has just occurred. A mumbled assumption among the crowd as a loud noise and the glass bottle shattering scared both Peacock and Snake into an overreaction. You and Robert, however, remained sceptical. There was something else going on. So, can either of you kindly tell me what the hell just happened? Are you going to get an explanation why you acted like that? Both Nikos and Pedro remain quiet, hanging their heads in shame. Even Oscar stands a step back, refusing to look at anyone present. I believe I have an idea of what's going on. There's an old, truly ancient grudge running between these two, older than they are. Even for a human, it can be difficult to forgive such a vendetta. For mythicals, it is harder still. Depending on the case, it can be impossible. Their souls are easily influenced by such things. Their chaos, the wild part of their beings, can overpower the human side and push them to violence. I saw it clear as day. Between their souls, something beyond their power was triggered. These two should not under any circumstance be trusted around one another. Violence will always ensue. Is that so? I couldn't think. I didn't mean to... Very helpless, partner. I can take care of Peter here. Asterion, I need to talk to you after I get some water on this fella's gullet and some chow down the dogs. Do you need any... Don't worry, kid. This drunken son of a bitch is in good hands. Just sit yourself down and grab something to eat. We'll be back in 2 shakes for lamb's tail. And if I can escort this young man to his bedroom, I'll guarantee his safety so long as he behaves. Can I come with you for moral support? I don't see why that would be. The demon's third eye wanders from the boar to the snake. Ah, very well. I'm sure that will be appreciated. All right, I can carry his pack up too. Make sure none of the provisions got, I didn't mean to. I didn't. Thanks. Huffing and horrified, the Panoptes and the impostor are led away from the scene. You sigh. Asterion flicks his tail. This is not like either of them. You only just met them. Perhaps, but I can tell. The firm conviction in his voice brooks no argument. You lean against his side. Down below, your fingers and the Minotaurs find one another. Together you share a deep, calming breath. Another crisis dealt with, huh? Just one of many you and I have faced together. You need some moral support too? Oh, I do not think so. Perhaps I'm just too numbed by everything. I feel all right for the moment. If I do need it later, though, can you... You give his large, strong, clumsy, gentle hand a squeeze. Of course. The lingering hints of agitation in his expression fade. His ear flicks and he gives you a small, warm smile. Round the bulk of his broad shoulder you catch a glimpse of Kota passing by, checking in on the other guests. The dragon sees you. He sees Asterion. He sees the way you rest against one another, fingers entwined. Then he turns and proceeds on his way without a word, ever a discreet gentleman. How easy would it be to stay where you are, allowing the soft scent of sunlight, the sea and your man to engulf you? There's still more to do for evening's end. You want to have a talk with both of them and Robert while you, You gesture to Oscar, still holding his breath from everything that's happened, only halfway present in the scene around him. Asteria nods. All right, I'll keep you updated. The two of you part after one last squeeze of each other's hand. Then you proceed on your way as well, leaving one Minotaur in the care of the other. The elder's ears tilt in concern, the youth's ears flick in confusion.
So, that was quite a...
I ain't usually like that.
Yes, I believe you. But worry not. Luke may be a brash man, but Pedro is in capable hands.
The empty hell of tension still persists in the air. Asteron takes a deep breath.
Would you like to step outside for a bit? Perhaps we could both use it, and afterwards I'll arrange some dinner for you.
Oscar lets out the breath he's holding. They sit in the quiet air. They feel the dusk. They do not speak. The pair of Minotaurs find comfort in the presence of another like themselves. They breathe easily.
Are we going to get kicked out over this?
Asteron looks up. His eyes reflect the stars of the clarity that knocks the younger Minotaur's breath away.
No, I've had removed guests before over instances of aggression. The situation seems more complex than most cases. My gut instinct tells me that trying to understand and to have compassion for what happened is far more important than throwing blame or immediate removal.
His voice rings clear. Not a trace of forced kindness, not a drop of anger or disappointment.
There are so many dark things lurking under the surface of one's mind. We are not so in control of ourselves as we like to believe. Is this enough of an answer?
Something within Oscar cracks open. He's assaulted by the smell of pencil shavings. He's a child again, a mostly young teenager, afflicted by a growing sense of disgust. When he just started taking biology lessons. The snickers, not at all subtle jokes, the open insults. Anger bubbling within, he breaks a fence rail on the long walk back home. That night he yells back when his mother accused him of stealing food again. He hadn't. One of his brothers took it from the fridge and decided not to mention it. He should know better. Firing back only makes it worse. The best he can do is disappear. The less they think about him, the more they can forget he exists, the better. But instead, in the next few weeks, he makes things disappear. The unbreakable plastic cup his mother got a decade before, now with all the movie characters on it, faded. His eldest brother's soccer ball, a classmate's pencil box. Just small things, the loss of which they could easily believe was their own fault. Disappeared and never returned. He never understood why he did it. He still doesn't. He closes his eyes and, not knowing why, thinks there is something similar between this place and that tiny hotel room back in the hinterlands. That place with the beds so soft, where he first learned about rights, where he almost stole his benefactor's money. It felt like home, even if Pedro had said it was trash. Though Oscar cannot put into words, both places hugged that battered, bruised, ugly part of him which only a mother could love, which his had not. All of these thoughts swim in the darker recesses of the young Minotaur's mind. For a while the two remain quiet, steeped in their introspections, till Oscar feels that everything will be all right.
So, you said you never met another Minotaur either, right?
Yes, I'm afraid I don't have a frame of reference for what, shall we say, might be common amongst our kind. I never imagined I would say such a thing. Our kind. I suppose that this could be fun. What do you say we try to figure this out ourselves?
All the dark thoughts about the fight just minutes ago settle deeper, lay to rest for now, if not entirely forgotten.
I like that. But where do we even start?
I was thinking about this before you returned from your trip. An idea or two came to mind. How about we share with each other what we care about?
Like, what's important to me?
Yes. From our discussions, I take it you care about Pedro. What else is there? What are your dreams?
Oh, God. It's embarrassing.
Dreams are always very personal, so some reticence is understandable. If you like, I can start.
I want to go back to school and I want to learn music, making it and composing it and stuff. Which reminds me, thank you for everything, sir. Things got weird this morning, but Pedro insisted on getting me a hell of an instrument, so... God, everything's going so quick. Just a few days ago I was worried about helping him pay rent, and now he told me this ain't an issue anymore. Oh, it's all good.
It seemed quite strongly to me that he and his family deserve a break, and so do you.
Thank you, sir. So, it's your turn now, I guess. What do you care about?
The people here. I care about the hotel too, its walls, the good memories. But above all else, I care about everyone here. Guests, staff, friends, everyone. Ever since I was a boy, I dreamed of building a place where everyone could find a home. Even those who are lost. Especially those who are lost. The way here was rocky, but there is no place in the world I'd rather be. I'm happy here, when we can all come together and make it our home.
Oscar's been staring, nodding, rapt. Only now does Asterion notice.
Does this dream speak to you?
Another silent nod.
Perhaps that is the thing amongst Minotaurs then, being lost and found.
Perhaps just as much a thing as being a musician.
I also play an instrument and sing, you know.
You do? What do you play, Mr. Asterion?
The lyre.
Oscar tilts his head.
It was like, a small harp.
Maybe we could play together one of these days. Oscar was ready to take an inventory of what Pedro brought for him, thinking the instruments could be played alongside a small harp. A few heartbeats, he wondered if he would be kicked out for being too loud, or upstaging his elder in some way to make Asterion hate him. Our place which welcomed him, Pedro Sweezy, could not also welcome a little self-expression, a little counter-rhythm against the beat. He does not know. Still, he wonders. When he looks over to see the warmth in Asterion's eyes, and his fellow Minotaur's reassuring smile, all doubts and fears melt away.
I like that, yeah.
Oscar smiles too. They share in that eagerness. Time, ever marching, demands his due. Before too long, what happened in the lounge is a fading memory. This home you built with Asterion is a place for all wounds to be healed. With time and patience and the goodwill of humanity. As you make your evening rounds, Kota finds occasion to stop you for a moment and a word or two. He invites you, once you're finished with today's work, back to his room for a friendly chat. There is, judging by the glimmer in his eye, much he wishes to discuss with you. Ah, Leo, please, come in, come in. You follow the dragon inside. One can't help but notice the spring in his steps. He leads you over to a low table, complete with cushions set out on the floor. Nor the way he smiles while gesturing for you to have a seat. Nor how he fidgets when he takes his own. Oh, how about a drink? Sake? Beer, wine, whiskey, gashasha? What's the occasion? I thought we were just having a friendly chat. And what better to go along with a conversation between good friends? That shit-eating smile, so self-assured you can almost hear it in the silence of the room. You readjust yourself, scratch your forearm, look at the knickknacks on the shelves and back of the dragon. You breathe in, bite your lip, breathe out. And still he's looking at you in the exact same way. I know what's on your mind.
Oh, do you now?
Yes. I have to say, your smug aura is pretty damn intimidating. Kota folds his hands before him on the table. Well, I just humbly believe the soul will recognize its other half. A very simple and innocent thought, really. You are anything but innocent. Oh, don't be like that. Here, make yourself comfortable. Let's have a drink. I have just the thing. The dragon makes an ostentatious show of picking the right glasses, overfilling them from a deceptively modest bottle. Yours first, of course. Does not touch his own, however. Like a boy, he rests his chin on both hands, eyes glimmering with anticipation. Well, The moment lingers. Kota scoots closer, breath held, one fang digging into his bottom lip, eyes staunchly locked upon you. You raise a glass to him, then take a swig. A strong liquor on the tongue, but smooth and warm going down. Last night, Asterion and I kissed and cuddled with each other. Glee. Elation. Kota leaps to his feet with the most uncharacteristic whoop of celebration. I knew it. I knew it was written in the stars. Of course, according to that horoscope leak drew up, Astarian's an all-terrain vehicle and I'm the dancing lady emoji. We truly were made for each other. Oh, come now. Where's your joy, your cheer? You're too romantic, Kota. It's one to expect from someone born under the sea cucumber sign. You're both so terrible. The scales of his cheeks grow a little darker. The dragon sits back down with a huff. No one to pout, if I can hide how the corners of his lips pull upwards. Then his smile continues to both widen and soften as you proceed to relate in the details he craves to hear. How Astarian confessed his feelings to you, how you confessed yours to him in turn, how two of you fell asleep together on the couch in your quarters, and how you woke up in one another's arms. You don't relay everything, of course. You know the discussion you and your darling had this morning. Propriety remains in place. It would not do to overstep boundaries so soon as they have been established. But judging by the glint in the dragon's eyes, he's more than capable of connecting the dots. He shifts in his seat like an eager youth, until at last his own propriety dissolves. Kota cannot refrain from speaking up any longer. Oh, I have an idea. It will take that Dominicos boy a week or so to scout the valley, correct? And from what I gathered, nothing can be accomplished until his return. Naturally, the two of you can remain working as usual, even if it makes no difference. Or how about you and Astarian take the time off to enjoy some well-deserved privacy? But there's a lot to do in the meantime. I'm not sure it's such a good idea to fuck off and leave the ship without either of its captains. Oh, no you don't. I know that tone. I know those words. You make sure your glass is topped up. Stop being so rational. Live a little. The hotel is meant to be your home too. That means you get to relax every now and then. Besides, Astarian cannot leave the hotel, right? So the two of you will be just a set of stairs away. And be honest with me. Do you really want to waste your first days of love juggling with all the usual work we have around here? A silence ensues which, to the dragon, must come off as hesitation. He reaches across the table to set a hand upon your shoulder. Leo, please. You'll only ever have one chance to enjoy these precious days. Take it. It's not just hotel work, though. Still a lot that Astarian and I need to discuss before we take the next step forward. All the more reason for some time off. Give yourselves the opportunity to talk it all out. Some of it involves contracts, though. A curious perking of one eyebrow prompts you to continue. For instance, he's forbidden from having a relationship with any of the guests. Neither can he be naked in front of them. Since I'm the master, I don't really count, but what does that even matter if you and he are doing so well? It's about equality and trust, Kota. It's just not right to have these kinds of constraints, especially magical ones, being a part of our relationship. If I love him, then I should trust him enough to not need them. If he loves me, then undoing them won't change anything the worse. It'll just make things completely fair between us. You do have a point. Such trust is the bedrock upon which all strong relationships are built. Plus, I need to step up and lay the groundwork for what the hotel should be like going forward. That includes what place Astarian will have in all of it. I've got a lot of work ahead of me if I want to undo the damage the previous masters did, you know? And those projects we've been doing, those contracts we've been signing and revoking, they'll have an effect long into the future. Meaning? More silence, more hesitation. Let's be frank, I'm not going to be around forever. And even if I do still have plenty of time left, I shouldn't waste any of it. The dragon's face falls. He bites his lip and fidgets with his condensation-wet cup. I see, yes. I suppose that is something to think about. He fills his glass and takes a long draught from it. So, enticing as the suggestion of time off is, I don't think I should take it. Not now, at least. Another sip. Kota furrows his brows, a low hum rumbles in his throat. So you're looking for the contract that forbids Astarian from having relationships with guests, and the one that forbids him from... A soft, polite cough. Yeah, that and wherever else he's down there would restrict him. Anything to make it difficult for Astarian and I to have an equal relationship. The dragon nods, and with a beaming smile. I'll do it. I know I'm no stranger to the bedrock and its heaps of old contracts. I can find what you're looking for. And don't you dare reject this offer. Just leave it to me and enjoy this time you have with Astarian while you have it. His tone and expression brook no argument. What can one do in the face of such stern conviction? Alright, you convinced me. I guess I can take some time off without feeling like a bum. He lifts his glass to you and then drains it in a single gulp. Before anything else can be said, there is a knock at the door. Kota pokes up, and were it possible, that grin of his would probably split his face clean in half.
Here.
He rises to feet and makes his way over to answer. They? Ignored. Coda rushes in the pair of newcomers. Luke, who bursts in with a raucous squawk, followed by Shy and shuffling Asterion. Well, so much for discretion. Again, ignored. Asterion, welcome. Please come and sit. You and I are having quite the discussion just now. The Griffin pulls the hapless Minotaur over to sit at the low table with you. Coda returns with more decorum, and more glasses. He was telling me how great an idea it would be for the two of you to take some time off. Don't you agree? Asterion looks cornered, flabbergasted, gobsmacked. He turns to Luke, who'd been suppressing a cackle ever since his entrance. Oh, well, don't you know it? Sorry over here was just telling me the same thing. So, a little romantic getaway to a nice penthouse suite? Scooching closer to you, leaning to your ear, the Minotaur whispers in a breath of anxiety. No, I swear to you, this is not my idea. Luke spent the last full hour trying to convince me. His eyes dart down to your glass, and over to Cota's, then return to meet your own. Did Cota do the same to you? Perhaps some commiseration would ease the tension, and honesty is the best policy, is it not? Yeah, and he's been really persistent about it too. That said, it might be a good idea, considering everything that's been going on. What do you think?
I would not be opposed to it. These last few months have been so intense. Suppose it might not be unreasonable to rest a little.
Asterion is all grumbling, all avoidance of eye contact. His tail wiggles. You reach across his back to grip his thick and hardy shoulder. As you put him close, his groan suppresses a giggle. He scooches closer still and then places a hand on your thigh. And more than rest, I want the chance to spend some time alone with you. He tries not to smile. What can I say? I want to pamper you a bit, give you all of my time and attention, treat you with all the love and affection I have.
About 12.
What's the matter? Didn't you tell me earlier I shouldn't be ashamed of you?
Yes.
So, Cota, Luke, I suppose I can be frank with the two of you? They both lean in. Sarah and I are a couple, isn't that right?
I mean, yes, that is correct.
Luke raises his hand for a high five from Cota. Ignored. We've even told each other I love you. Should I stop?
You need not. Continue if it pleases you. I'm just a bit speechless.
Lean over to plant a kiss on your darling's burning cheek. While Luke lets out a squawk in cheer, Cota keeps everyone's glasses topped up. Asterion, meanwhile, only smiles. So, taking a vacation. We could spend a few days in with a don't disturb sign on our door, or I guess I could just make it disappear from the outside. Not the most elaborate of plans, but... Hey, there's some swanky place you guys could move into for a bit? I don't know about that. Asterion?
I may have an idea. I have kept a special little place as what one might call my vacation home. It is very scenic, comfortable, and romantic.
He hides behind the rim of his glass, taking a good long sip of his drink.
Getting there is somewhat complicated. That only makes it more private. It'll be just you and I there. It is down the old layers of the hotel. You can find it only if you know what you're looking for. It is a very special place to me.
What's it like? Another sip, he looks deep into your eyes.
May I keep it a surprise?
All right. I'll tell Luke and Cota about more of our embarrassing moments instead.
Oh?
You make good on your word, holding as little back as possible. With Asterion's arrival and with the drink warm in your belly, propriety is all but thrown out the window. Luke alternates between cackling in glee and cooing over the two of you, declaring you sweetened stolen honey. When he turns to Cota, the dragon offers his agreement, along with some doting commentary of his own. And between swigs of liquid courage, Asterion relates a few anecdotes as well. even one or two that make you start to flush. It soon becomes a game between you and the Minotaur, who can make the other blush and splutter, who can stir the finest fluttering of the other's heart. Even though so many weeks have passed since Asteron's concert in the lounge, the words of our chaos continue to ring true. Luke and Kota listen to it all, drinking and laughing along. Both of them notice your fingers and those of your darling entwining. Neither of them say a word about it, even as their eyes glimmer at the sight. These fine, dependable companions, this fraternity, this is indeed what makes a home of your hotel. Kota's special bottle has been completely emptied by the time you and Asteron rise to take your leave. Together, arm in arm, you return to your quarters to enjoy another night of peaceful rest. That was chapter 19, so I don't know when chapter 20 is coming out, but rest assured, we'll be covering that one. And coming up soon, we'll have a new chapter of L'Automne. And then next weekend, it will be Moonfire Seeker Saga. I believe we're up to chapter 7 now. Just basically, chapter 8 is in 2 parts, so it's about 3 more videos. And that's it with that series. So it'll be hopefully a lot more we'll discover about that world in there. I'm going to keep this short because I've been talking for a very, very long time. So always before I go on to say thank you to all my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon. You are very, very much appreciated. And my top patrons are Omar, Rafu, Spiderlinks, Muto, Tiger Cup, Amaterasu, Lovers Need Coffee, Ali Bear, Greylock, Larkuskaton, Andy Peng, Aaron Fox, Bastian, Bieker, Brian Hall, Cobus Visser, Dissonance, Exact, Grizz, Harvest Mouse Productions, Evan King, Kartek, Matt Kenya, and Mario Cervantes. Special thanks to them and thanks to all of you. Thank you for watching. It's interesting to get caught up with Minotaur Hotel at last. I've been trying to do this for quite a long time. So of course we'll be back when the new update comes out and we check in at the Minotaur Hotel again. Thanks for watching and bye for now.